There's a snake in my toilet.
Quick, shoot it. Damn, I missed. Quick, shoot it again. Damn it.
I missed.
Making your way through the daily grind takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to tune away? All those nights when you're feeling low, the rent is overdue, and your coffee maker's broken, your luck just seems to skew, and your boss is always on your case. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed and you feel the dread. The morning's looking bleak, the morning's and your internet is down again. You haven't slept all week, and your car just broke down on the way. Be glad there's a place online where you can feel at ease. In the Barroom Podcast, friends, we share our thoughts and tease. Every story shared, every laugh so free.
Across 11 states, individuals such as Chauncey.
Everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. So here's to the moments we all hold dear. In this barroom of the airways with friends so near. Every story shared, every heartfelt cheer. It's more than just a podcast, it's where we steer. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. So tune in with Unwind, let the stories unfold. In this haven, voices where camaraderie is gold. The Barroom Podcast, the home away from home, where laughter is the language and you'll never be alone. Where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? We're here for another episode of the Barroom 171, and I'm joined here with a lovely cast of a couple of awesome, super special, awesome guys. Cider's back.
Yeah, I don't know that second special.
Yeah, Cider's back. He's not dead. How's it going, Cider?
Clearly surviving Jeff, the Eldritch Horror. Hanging out here in Maine, I guess, maybe. I'm non-dairy now.
Was that a choice that you made on your own?
No. I've been non-dairy for many years now. I just decided to write that there.
Lactose intolerant. I get it.
Sure. Like that, wasn't that one of Super Dude's weaknesses?
Yes, that was the recurring dude that every time you would throw like butter or milk on him, he would just get super weak. And yeah, if you know that's not how lactose intolerance works, but I mean, I guess we were kids. So
that's right.
No one really questioned it.
That's how I feel. Whenever I touch butter, I feel like I'm going to die. Yep.
Yeah, just absorbs it right into your bloodstream. Also joining us here is Nate. Rob, how's it going?
Pretty good. I love dairy. I'm consuming a lot of it right now because of trying to add muscle, and I eat it all the time. But I'm pretty sure that a segment of the population just doesn't handle it well, especially over time. I've just heard too many things from people who just like, you know what I mean, have had a similar diet to me or whatever. So I feel bad. You know what I mean? If dairy didn't agree with me, I would be so sad. So I almost won $23,000 this weekend.
If it's on almost.
This is from almost. By the way, this is missing one game on a 14-leg parlay. It happened to me 2 weeks ago. It happened last week, and it happened this week. So I'm due. Is that no? It doesn't work that way. But it's fun. It's fun throwing money away. Thank you, NFL. Thank you, all of the gambling sports books that I frequent.
We're going to talk about this in the course of tonight's show, but I think to myself, can Vegas see your bet? Can they see that you're essentially like one leg away from winning, and then somebody just makes a phone call, and all of a sudden Saquon Barkley like runs for like 300 yards and 8 touchdowns, and then you just lose? Like, is that how it works?
I'm not that much of a narcissist. I literally, okay, this is no joke. They are $1 plays. So when I say this, I literally do 40 or 45 parlays a week, just trying to pick all the games right. Now, I know it's a ridiculous in terms of odds. You're insane to think that you're even going to win, but it's just fun. I just want to hit it one time, and then I'll go back to like normie degenerate betting. But that's just my fun game that I like to play. But yeah, I know that it's not likely to hit, or but that's why it's like, just hey, why not?
Only bet what you're willing to lose, unless you're Chauncey Billups, which we'll get to later on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole rabbit hole we'll get to here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Elephant in the room, I am a little bit under the weather. By a little bit, I mean a lot. Haven't really gotten a lot of sleep over the last couple of days, which has kind of sucked. My
He's
voice
so
is
sick, he's out of focus.
No, damn, that's my camera. I thought I had it fixed, and like literally the second we go live, now it's like going on focus again. I literally like sat here for like 30 minutes, and
The camera's
nothing
congested.
happened.
Yeah.
This whole show is congested. This whole stupid thing. Yeah, I don't like the autofocus feature on this stupid camera thing because you can't control it. So I'll work on fixing this some other time. But let's go ahead and start it off with this. In case you guys don't know, a little under the weather, but I'm going to power through because there is a lot to talk about here tonight. So we're going to be getting into that. Last show, this is the last bar room ever, possibly, on YouTube.
Again.
So I've been telling you guys for several weeks now, we're coming to a point where the show is going to be exclusively on Rumble. When I say exclusively, we're also going to be on X2 in a couple places, but it won't be on YouTube starting next week. So the show, the time slot is still going to be the same. Nothing to change there. We're just going to be on YouTube only. So I've given you guys the link here for Rumble to subscribe. That way you can catch the show live when we go on Tuesdays. If you haven't created a Rumble yet, go ahead and do that so you guys can keep following the show there. Bible Lens will still be on YouTube. I got some more content coming up on YouTube in November as well. I'm doing a whole lot of catching up, and I mean a whole lot of catching up. So essentially I've been, if you guys know, on the Bible Lens show, I've essentially done about 113 episodes roughly of that show, and I've taken a lot of notes over 2.5 years. So I've converted all of those notes into articles that I've uploaded at the site. I've done a lot so far. In the 30-ish episodes that we've covered so far, I'm about 26% done with all the content that I've done to this point. It's a massive project, which is probably going to take me a good solid week, maybe 2 weeks to fully complete, but it's something that we're doing there. Go check out the site. Everything is going to be backloaded on the site. Bar rooms, the Bible lenses, 511s, all the stuff. The editorials, all that stuff is going to be on there. Go check out the site. So Rumble site, letting you guys know that next week it's like, oh, what happened? Where are they? It's like, oh yeah, he did say go to Rumble. Then check us out on Rumble. That's where we'll be. Let's go ahead and introduce everyone who's joining us here tonight. Leslie Tarkin joining us here. Neozoic also joining us here tonight, saying that, what is your favorite TV show of all time? All time. It doesn't matter exactly what it is. Like, what is your favorite television show ever? Rob, I'll start with you.
Sure. I'm actually watching it for like the 13th time right now, The Sopranos. I got 2 episodes left before it's done. That's pretty hard to eclipse that one. Animated, whatever. I'll just throw Batman the Animated Series on there because I love it. Great show. Hasn't really been topped in terms of that character in an animated capacity. So go with those.
Cider.
I gotta go with Cowboy Bebop. So I'm sorry, I'm terribly basic like that, but I adore it when it comes to TV shows. Barbarella is my favorite movie, so it's like, come on, they're not too far away in the concepts. So some space bullshit happens and somebody's tits hang out. So
And then one guy got turned into a trans experiment. that happened. It was a real thing.
Yep, that was in a movie. Yep.
I would say my favorite television show is probably Burn Notice. I would go with Burn Notice. If I'm just going with strictly favorite, I like that show a lot. Like there's most TV shows that I like start off good, but somewhere around like season like 3 or 4, they trail off to another dimension, and the next thing you know, that show sucks now. I can't say the same thing for Burn Notice, especially considering the fact that they kind of got hosed a little bit with the last season because they didn't know it was going to be their last season until like halfway during production, and they had to kind of like wrap things up very quickly. But yeah, I'd go with that one.
I miss Bruce Campbell being in regular, productions.
Yeah, and not just Ash versus Evil all the time.
Yeah, he's a very well-ranged actor. He can do pretty well, particularly in comedy, and he's just stuck playing Ash forever. It's not like it's, killing him, but I mean, like,
yeah,
he can do other stuff, guys.
Like, he's done. He was great as Sam. If you guys like watch the show, that was a great show.
Sam Axe is probably one of his best characters, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He just seemed like Bruce Campbell showed up and just started saying things, and they were like, "No, don't cut it. Let's keep him in. You want to be a part of the show, Bruce?"
Like his entire character was like a retired alcoholic womanizer whose best friend is a Fed. Like that's literally the whole show.
That's it. And it just fit him so well.
Yeah.
So well.
It's funny because it's October. I'm watching a bunch of horror movies. Bruce Campbell's actually in one of my favorite exploitation horror movies from the '80s, Maniac Cop. And so he's, or you know what I mean, like late '80s. It's obviously post Evil Dead, but before Army of Darkness, and so Bruce Campbell has had this amazing career where he's never really been what Hollywood wants. But he gets work because he's talented. He's willing to do a lot of different things. A lot of actors aren't. I feel bad for him because he's way more talented than his career kind of, suggests. But he's awesome.
Sakai Mira here says, "What is your thoughts on Buddhism?" That's a whole episode of the Bible in and of itself. I can summarize it in like this: everyone wants to be close to God except for going directly to Christ, and that's the problem. So that's the short answer I'll give you, and I'll give you a long form answer on another episode there. But there you go. Who else do we got going here? Band of Brothers, TWT, Star Wars Rebels. Keith joining us here on the YouTube side of things. Sad, we'll be going right back to Rumble here next week, so unfortunately for him. Terminator Joe also joining us here tonight. Yeah, he'll have to make a new Rumble after next week. There's the Rumble link again. Who else do we got here? Mina's over on our Rumble side of things. And Terminator Joe says, Sopranos is Prime TV. Nothing can beat it. And like I said, Sopranos, what was it? The Wire. Breaking Bad had a great model of not over bloating its story, just going on for years and years just because it's popular. It's like, get in, get out, be one of the all-time greats. It's like, I kind of like that format. Especially if you're not going to do like dumb fun, there's really no reason for you to have 115 episodes of a show. That is just kind of my personal opinion. So
yeah, and you, Yasha.
Yeah, you little bastard. I can't even tell you what season of Pokemon I stopped watching because there's like 48 of them now. So I honestly don't even know. All I know is that the last time I stopped playing that game, it was Gold and Silver. So you calculate how long ago that was.
Yeah,
it was kind of a while ago. Well, like I said, we got a lot to talk about here tonight, and we're going to deep dive into a lot of topics because people have just absolutely lost their damn minds over the course of the last several days, and there's been a lot of bad takes, a lot of horrific takes, and just downright stupidity. But first, before we get into all that, let's just talk about the NBA being rigged. I feel like this shouldn't be breaking news. Everyone should know about this by now, but yeah, the NBA's fixed. A massive betting scandal has occurred, and the reason why it's massive is because I don't think people realize just how deep this truly goes. It's a couple of players and a couple of coaches now, but if you really start peeling back the entire league over the course of the last 20, 30 years, not just in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, there's been a lot of questionable decisions that have been made for the sake of what people like to call, sabermetrics and, we're analytics and all this other stuff. It's like, what about the betting? You sure the betting hasn't had anything to do with a lot of the front office decisions over the course of the last several years that have nothing to do with it? So this is what happened I think right after we did our last week's episode. Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, formerly of the Pistons that won a championship in 2004, was arrested immediately after his home opening game for the Portland Trailblazers. I'll just say something that's probably not going to be so popular here. I would relocate the Portland Trailblazers to Calgary if I could. If I was the commissioner, I would relocate them because screw Portland. And I don't think anyone else will argue too harshly against that. Portland doesn't deserve to have basketball in 2025. That's a whole other conversation.
Portland doesn't deserve to have. Let's just put it there. Just stop.
Yeah, there we go. Let's do that. Portland doesn't deserve to have, right? But yeah, so he got arrested because he was involved in essentially an illegal poker scam. Not only was he involved in an illegal poker scam, he was involved in an illegal poker scam with the mob. Yeah, that's right. The Italian mob are still around. They still operate. I know we were just talking about The Sopranos just literally 5 seconds ago, but this is actually still a thing. They still operate in New York. People just don't talk about it. There was a lot of gabagool, apparently, right? So we've seen circles like this. It's nothing new. If you guys remember the movie Molly's Game, this is a movie that we reviewed a while back ago with Jessica Chastain, and that was kind of in the line of not outright illegal. I mean, except for her Russian thing, that was totally illegal. But it's like, yeah, get a bunch of rich guys together, but get a bunch of high rollers, have them gamble large amounts and lose large amounts and all this stuff. Like this has been going on in entertainment circles for a while. This one apparently involved the mob. Allegations of cheating during these games, and then there was allegations that essentially some of the players in the league were intentionally throwing games, quote unquote, in order to sell out money for prop bets. So we'll get into this whole thing here in a second, but I'll play FBI director here, Kash Patel, basically talking about what essentially they uncovered. Now, this whole thing started with Biden, I think back in 2021, and it's kind of been uncovered now. So this has been going on for a few years. It wasn't just kind of a run-of-the-mill thing.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. Individuals such as Chauncey Billups.
And Lucacelli, you're muted.
Yeah. Profaci.
So basically, games were being rigged for the mob. That's what was happening here. So there's a lot to unpack with this news story.
You like to throw around that basketball. How about I pay you to throw it the wrong way? Huh? What's your price to throw that ball left instead of right?
Money, 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 money. Okay, so here's what happened. These guys got arrested for a multitude of charges here. Heat guard Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, NBA coach, former guard Damian Jones were among a dozen of them arrested for a widespread match-fixing, essentially, investigation. So this wasn't just, hey, they were doing things in the privacy of their poker game. They were literally rigging games, and here's how they were doing it. So essentially, as you guys know, the NBA, just like every other major sports league, allows prop bets. So let's say that, you're a player in the NBA. Somebody says, okay, we'll start the line at 15.5 points that this player scores here tonight, right? People bet whether he's going to score over or under 15 points. Well, if the line on you was, let's say, 20.5, and you decided, hey, you know what? Why don't you guys place a massive bet on the under? And then about 7 minutes into the game, I'm going to pull a hamstring injury and then sit out for the remainder of the game, making sure that the under wins. That's what was being alleged happened here with Terry Rozier and a lot of other people. There was also inside information that was given out during the course of this as well. Essentially, players found out behind closed doors that LeBron James was not going to be playing for the Lakers before the announcement was made public. So people made massive bets against the Lakers before the announcement went out there, which means that the odds were actually better for the Lakers under the guise that LeBron was playing, and then when people found out that he wasn't playing, the odds shifted. But if you already placed a bet at a certain time period, they have to honor it when you placed it. So a lot of people made a lot of money with information that people here in the public did not have the same information to have, because, you know, we're not in the club. But day in and day out, this FBI is following the money. This is what Patel said. This operation spans 11 states and 34 subjects arrests, essentially. Multiple NBA coaches and players took advantage of their own positions to rig gambling systems for their own benefit. So the NBA is very, very tense about this whole situation right now. There's been talks that if this blows up into a bigger scandal, meaning that the three people involved aren't the only ones that go down for this, Adam Silver's probably looking at losing his job, and now you're talking about trickling down. It's like, well, if this is going on in the NBA, clearly this had to have been going on in the NFL, where there's a lot more money in sports gambling than the NBA is. What about Major League Baseball? What if those pitchers in those major league games aren't throwing the ball nearly as hard as they should be because they're trying to influence results that may cash out down the line? So this is where we're getting into the conversation now of, are sports rigged? I've been making this point with Rob for the last couple of years, and I started off half kidding, and now I've been like more serious about it. This goes all the way back to, I believe it was Brady's last game with the Bucks and the Cowboys in the playoffs. And you guys remember this game. It was the playoff game where the Dallas Cowboys kicker missed 4 extra points in the game. 4, which is almost statistically impossible for an NFL kicker to miss 4 extra points consecutively. Well, it turns out, due to him missing 4 extra points, the over-under for the game was 45.5. When hit the 4 extra points that he missed, the total points was 45. And I looked at that game and I was like, that is blatant point shaving if I haven't seen so myself, right? Like I said, there's no way a kicker is that bad to intentionally miss essentially 4 chip shot extra points in a row, unless there was something going on behind closed doors. No one wanted to bother to investigate that because, like I said, you're opening up a very, very bad rabbit hole when you do stuff like this. Now, people on Twitter have started doing their own investigation into this whole situation here, and they found Terry Rozier here, who was, like I said, with the Miami Heat. This was earlier this year. Now, shout out to our guy, Fight Oracle, because he actually called this as it happened several months ago before the charges got officially formally announced. It was this game that they was watching, and he was like, this guy is blatantly throwing the game, blatantly, and just watch this little video here. Some of these things look very, very suspect. So, you know, he pretends like the ball goes off of his leg, and he acts like he's really, really frustrated about it. You know, one time people go like, oh, okay, that looks suspicious. This is all in the same game, by the way. Now, this one is egregious. He tries to pass the ball to his teammate. The ball is nowhere near his teammate, and before he's even have his feet set, he's already in defense, as if he knew he was throwing the ball away.
Rozier turned it over again, having a tough night. And Rozier
So I want to play that one again because that's the most damaging one in this whole video here.
See, the problem with this is that the defense and general play in the NBA, especially regular season, is so low effort.
Yeah,
you could get away with believably being like, oh, he just had an off night, or he just wasn't, he didn't care, because a lot of NBA play is really lackadaisical anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one bad pass after bad shot after another, and now he's been arrested and indicting for fixing games. This is a guy who's getting paid like $25 million a year, by the way, and apparently he was accused of essentially faking an injury to assure that the under of the game hit because somebody had made a $200,000 bet on him. The bet was flagged because it was like, who in the blue hell is betting $200,000 on Terry Rozier in the NBA? It was flagged. No one thought anything of it, so then they was like, okay, we'll just let it go. Well, now the cat's out of the bag, and people are asking questions, and I believe the fallout of this is going to be pretty huge. Now, again, this is not the first time this has happened in the NBA. We always go back to Tim Donaghy in 2002, a referee who was blatantly caught fixing games. He admitted that, yeah, that 2002 Western Conference Finals with the Lakers and the Kings, where a lot of people argue the Kings were probably the better team and should have won that series, we kind of rigged that game in favor of the Lakers because the NBA loves Los Angeles and they love LA. LA is a big market. They get a lot of attention. So we tend to rig things in their favor. Now people are questioning, yeah, why is it that, the Los Angeles Lakers shoot more free throws than anybody else in the league over a season, more than anybody else? Why is that always the thing? Why are they getting such a discrepancy there? And then I think the big one, and this is one we were talking about a couple times this year, the Luka trade. In the middle of the night, completely out of nowhere, on a Saturday night, Dallas trades Luka Doncic, a top 5 player, to the Los Angeles Lakers. They told absolutely no one that Luka was available. No other team even knew that he was available for a trade. They found out he was traded. Anthony Davis wasn't even told about the trade. No one was traded. It happened in the middle of the night.
Even told, was he?
Luka was not even told. Luka, who just bought a $15 million home in Dallas, had to find out the hard way he just got traded to LA on no notice whatsoever. So people were like, that was extremely suspicious.
Like wildfires, kid?
Because look, we're talking about LeBron James probably being in his last couple of years in the league. They need a new star in LA because they can't let go of that LA market. Hey, why don't you guys just randomly trade a megastar over to LA and revive the Lakers? Because that's essentially what happens all the time. And then all of a sudden, you get to the NBA draft a few months later. Guess who has the number 1 overall pick, despite only having a 2% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick? The Dallas Mavericks. And they happen to get a generational star in Cooper Flagg. Everyone was like, you can't tell me that was happenstance, that all just happened naturally. It feels like the league has been fixing things for quite some time, and maybe now their chickens are coming home to roost. So I'll go ahead and start off with you, Rob. You're the sports guy. Well, what's your thoughts on this whole situation here?
I mean, I was pretty blown away when I saw the headlines, just because, like, I knew stuff like this goes on, but you got to be a little smarter about it. And certainly, I think maybe the mob guys are, because we don't know who they are. Maybe they'll be named. Maybe they'll be named in indictments or court proceedings. But it's pretty much the guys that allowed themselves to be used. And we didn't even get to the whole card thing with Chauncey Billups and luring people to these clubs that were just rip-off joints. They weren't even it's one, if you guys have seen the movie Rounders, these underground clubs where, if you got the money and somebody, you can play for some high stakes. And yeah, the FBI tends to frown on that stuff. And I don't know what the laws are, but yeah, if they know something like that's going on, they absolutely, will try to shut it down. So, yeah, I don't know. This whole thing is kind of wild. But it's just greed. It's people that have a shitload of money who are looking to rip off people who think that they're getting a decent game of chance, basically. They just want to have some fun with their money. And they want to have relatively decent odds. And we're not talking about even, the house always wins, right? That's always the saying. But come on, you can't be blatantly ripping off your clientele. I mean, I guess you can. And so it's just that's the risk you have with unregulated markets and all that fun stuff. But in terms of what this means for the NBA, I mean, the NBA already had, I think, issues with load management. When load management got introduced a couple seasons ago, or I don't know how long it's been around now, but where star players take nights off, multiple nights off during the week because they need to rest, even though they're paid to play every night. It's that really was the expectation. And now it's oh, we got all our money. We got this increase in all this cash we got paid on our contracts, and now we're going to sit out 15 to 20% of our games, screwing the fans who pay for these seats, who come to these games, who pay our salaries basically through revenue. So, I mean, there's a huge disconnect here. And of course, the NBA started going international 15, 20 years ago. And to some extent, that made sense. especially to try to bring talent to the NBA. But I don't know. It just seems like it didn't have enough of a foothold in America, and it needed to do all these other things to sort of gain notoriety and interest. I mean, look at the disaster the WNBA has been. You know what I mean? And that's a failure of its own. But I know the gambling thing is kind of separate, but this is to me just a larger microcosm of what a failure the NBA is. Now, is this going on in other sports? Is this going on in the NFL? I hope not. I mean, I would have a lot, not a lot, but I would have something to lose by that. A, the game I love is compromised. B, the money I'm gambling on the game I love is compromised.
And you ain't getting it back.
Right, exactly. So, and don't get me wrong, like I won a really nice 5-game parlay last wild card weekend, but it's, you know what I mean? It really is just for fun. And the people that do it professionally, like, good luck. You know what I mean? Like, it is not for the faint of heart. It is not for, I would not recommend it. Again, it is just for fun. It's not anything where it's like you should expect to win because you're not going to. That's the best advice I can give anybody is like, if you've got like $25 you want to throw away just to bet a game, just to see what the hell, fine. It's just for fun. But outside of that, it's just like, there's a lot of people who are very dumb with money and think that they're being smooth. And it's like, if you guys have seen the movie Casino, like it's okay, not literally being taken into the back and getting your hand, ripped apart by a wrench, smashing into it. But in terms of financially, yeah, that's what happens. So just don't, just don't fuck around because, you're not a professional and you don't know shit.
And you like all your fingers.
Exactly.
For now. Yeah, the NFL, I mean, look, there's been a lot of games. Like we talk, there's whole channels. Like if you're a follow Barstool in any capacity, they do a whole Twitter page dedicated to quote unquote bad beats. And it's not just, a guy's got a Hail Mary touchdown, like the last minute of the day. It's never that. It's like, okay, the game is like, a team is down by like 38 points, right? The game's not even remotely close. It's over. It's the final 10 seconds of the game. And for some reason, the losing team is trying to score a touchdown in the last 10 seconds of the game. They scored a touchdown and everyone's celebrating. And then all of a sudden you go back, you check the line afterwards. It was like, oh, they just so happened to cover on a game that they did not need to cover whatsoever, right? I think there's another clip that I'll look for here too, where people say this is kind of suspicious. The Golden State Warriors might have been, trying to work something on the money line, not the money line, the point spread, because people knew what the spread of the game was, and all of a sudden, people just thought, oh, let's check up a 3 as time expires. It's like, why would we do that? Oh, okay, well, now we get it. Now we see what's going on here. Cider, what's your take on the NBA fixing games? And let's be honest, it is professional sports basically faker than pro wrestling.
Well, this is one of the first things that Grok did when we got Grok posting out in public. They asked the AI if what the designation of the National Football League was, and it's an entertainment organization, not a sports organization. Meaning, and Grok defined this. It said they don't have to produce real results to the game. They can change the results of the game, being an entertainment organization, because under entertainment, it's not really sports. And so that's what they do, is they sell you a predestined outcome, similar to how people who foolishly would do this, but foolishly bet on the wrestling matches at WrestleMania, this jazz. And that's all the NFL, NBA, probably the National Hockey League, but I don't know why they'd waste the money. But that's all it is. It's just orchestrated. You wonder where Hollywood writers went. Well, this is where they ended up, writing the scripts for your favorite sports teams. When we watch those memes about the script writer, Jacob, that's real now.
Yeah.
That's real now. That's real now. Okay?
Yeah. And by the way, that
whole
asshole
in a robe anymore. That's the actual commissioner of football, the chief of football, Mr. Football, if you will, deciding this.
I just want to throw it out there. Foster was the one who says that the NFL scripted games. Everyone just took him and was like, oh, he's a lunatic. He's a crazy person thinking that the NFL would script it. He wasn't really kidding if you go back and check that interview. And now all of a sudden, oh, yeah, we got scriptwriter memes. So it's almost as like, if you really just pay attention, and this, I don't know what it is with just people of this society where people tell you exactly what they're doing, and then for some reason they just can't accept that that's exactly what they're doing. And then we sit here and pretend like we're shocked after the fact. Like, why would you be shocked that they literally told you exactly what they were doing? By the way, this is
because it's insulting to believe that it's that easy. Like, everybody out there wants to believe that there's some like megalomaniac central organization that's controlling everything everywhere, but it really could just be a chain of idiots that got hired because they were cheap. And that's resulted in everything sucking forever because we put people who are totally inept in places they never belonged because they were cheap.
I just want to say this: athletes are very stupid. Like, they're kind of like male models, you know, in the sense that, like,
You don't say.
they can be used very easily. And so I'm just thinking, I'm just getting a flash of Zoolander right now, but with athletes. So, but yeah,
Now
it's
that
fun.
would be a funny movie, dude. That would be hilarious.
But it's true though. Like we like male, especially male athletes are like beloved figures that we put on, and I'm saying culturally, we put on a pedestal. But like, there's that scene in A Bronx Tale where he's just like, "Does Mickey Mantle, you know, pay your bills?" He put food on the table, like, and he just made the point of just like, why do you give a shit about somebody who's never going to know your name? Never, and obviously that's devastating to say to an 8-year-old kid. But it's like, why would you care about somebody who's not knows nothing about you? Will never know you exist. You know, he doesn't know you. And so, I don't know. It's just that it's very interesting.
this video has gone viral. This is from a couple of years ago. This is the textbook situation I'm talking about here. It's the Warriors and the Wizards were playing a couple of years back. It's a 14-point lead. It's 4 seconds left in the game. They've already won. All you have to do is dribble it out. That there's really no point of trying to make another shot here. But guess what happens?
There. Rollins will cap off the scoring drop.
And they hit. And you know why everyone is reacting? Because it just so happens that the point spread hit with that meaningless bucket at the very, very end of the game. And then look how the players react. It's almost as if they knew what the point spread was.
So the Warriors starting to put some wins together. Steph got to sit the whole fourth quarter. There.
So if you see it there, it was Seth and a couple of other players sitting behind him. I think that's Chris Paul when he was there on the team too. They're all reacting because they realize that the 11.5 line hit thanks to that meaningless three-pointer that was taken in the last 4 seconds of a 14-point game. So if the players are well aware of the point spreads going into the game, how are we just assuming that these games are not rigged? What trust can we possibly have in that we're watching real basketball games, or if they're just essentially working the system here to make money behind the scenes, because that's where they're getting their real money made?
I just want to share something with you guys real quick.
Yeah.
Gambling related. Okay, so the Bears were +7 earlier last week, and this is before Lamar Jackson was reported being out. So I took the Bears because I just thought it was a great pick. I was through the roof excited for this game because it got reported Lamar Jackson's out. The line came down to 3.5. I'm just like through the roof happy. Awesome. The Bears opened the game going down the field, got right into the red zone, and couldn't score. So they kicked 2 field goals. End of the game, the Ravens are up 14. I need the Bears to score a touchdown. They're right on the 1 yard line. They got 4 downs to do it. They can't get in from the 1 fucking yard line right at the end of the game. So not only did the Bears, obviously the Bears lost, whatever, they played like shit, but they don't cover, and that was like and so that's just a very small example, and that's not even a good example. That's just don't bet on bad football teams, by the way. Don't bet on the Jets. Don't bet on the Bears. I don't care. I don't care if it was last week and the Jets had to come from behind by 14 points. Don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, like I said, and like so we've had this conversation many, many times before. We all grew up being massive sports fans. We all grew up with, all these different leagues and like stuff like that. But at a certain point, as much as we love to pretend like that, oh yeah, well, this is the sport that I used to watch with my mom and my dad and all this stuff. And it's like, guys, they're probably just rigging this whole thing at this point. We just need to accept it, that it's completely, totally rigged. So here's what I was
Damn
mentioning.
riggers.
Literal riggers. Literal riggers. To not even a meme. So I want to play
2
this
more
here.
weeks, guys. 2 more weeks.
Yeah. Well, next week technically. So.
Release the Kraken.
Oh wait, I forgot you guys have to see this, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here.
I know. I do that all the time.
Stand by. It's a big play here. It's a big play right here.
Oh, I remember.
He was
As
hoping,
soon as you brought it up.
he was hoping he could kick it from the 2-yard line instead of having to go all the way back. Oh my goodness.
Did you do a Tucker Carlson impression?
Just got the shanks a little bit.
That was his 4th missed field goal, 4th missed extra point, dude.
I don't even know what to say.
Now we got lots of analysts up there in the owner's box, right? We got extra analysts up there.
Listen, he's been money all season.
And Peyton was furious watching this game. You can tell.
Why is he eating the football?
Because he literally wants to throw the football through the wall. He knows that he
yeah,
can't.
funny
He's
on
on
it.
live television. You know? Maybe.
I know. Bless his heart.
That was the reaction.
Then again, I mean, Peyton has always notoriously hated kickers too, so that might
To be
also
fair,
have something to do with it.
Brett Maher is no longer in the league, so let's just reflect on that for a second. And I don't know. I want to point out that also and it's 1 week, but last week the favorites went 12-2 against the spread. So, and that doesn't happen. Vegas lost money last week in the NFL. So, and that happened all week, all year last year. It was insane. It was just Vegas keeps losing money. What's going on?
Yeah.
In many ways.
Maybe they took a year off. I don't know. Well, yeah, you're right. The town itself is just a fucking disaster.
Exactly. That's really what it comes down to. And another thing here too, let's be honest, the story has been over the course of the last several months, Vegas is not doing too well at the moment. Tourism is down massively. It's because prices around Vegas have skyrocketed. It's not the go-to tourist destination that it was several years ago anymore. And they haven't really adapted to that and now they're losing money, so who knows? Maybe Vegas has to make a few more phone calls around the league to recoup those costs. So that's what's going on there. Ongoing situation will get worse. I guess we'll only have to wait and see. So any final thoughts on this one before we move on to our next topic? Really? Nope. No one's got nothing?
Nah.
Not a single thing? Okay.
Football.
At least you didn't say sports ball like all the other hacks. The hacks
He likes
and
slam
frauds.
ball, so he can't do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, comments are definitely going up there. Let's see here. Let's talk about Simu Liu for a second here because he's just an insufferable bag of douche, and this will be the start of insufferable bag of douche hour here at the show because there's a lot of them. There's been a lot of people who've exposed themselves as insufferable douchebags, but Simu Liu apparently. I had saw the tweet, but I had no context whatsoever to who he was yelling at because it wasn't like a quote tweet or anything like that. He was just spurging off into the ether, which a lot of people are doing right now because, Twitter has just become a cesspool of exactly that. It's just bots and people melting down about reality. But this is from Geeks and Gamers. Simu Liu found himself once again in a social media meltdown, this time talking to conservative commentator Vince Dow, who I personally have never heard of. I don't know any of his content. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of him. But I guess he's Asian. So, who is in Vietnamese and Italian descent, replied to a viral X post showing a man eating rice with his hands. As an Asian, I feel like I have authority on rice. Eating rice with your hands is gross, strange, barbaric. None of my family has ever done this. Act like utensils were never invented. So his other take was reflecting on Eastern Asian culture that might have sparked debate, but didn't exactly warrant a full-scale meltdown by Shang-Chi. So just from the first part of that, I think he was being kind of a little bit ironic. Remember jokes? Remember when jokes used to be a thing? That kind of seemed like he was kind of tongue-in-cheek there just a little bit. Well, Sima did not take it very, very well here. And he responded with an absolute meltdown of, you don't have the authority on jack shit. You're just putting your own culture down and trying to make yourself feel more palatable to white conservatives, you dumb bitch. Acting like people don't get their hands dirty eating pizza or ribs or tacos. STFU.
Oh, it's
So-
this. This is what the thing's over.
Are you
The
meant to
thing-
be
Yeah.
sharing the screen?
Oh boy.
Oh, is this what? Damn it! It popped it back out. I don't know why I did that. Yeah,
Oh.
there we go. Yeah, so this was the tweet from Vince Dow here, and then this was Simu Liu's reply to that, which was just a whole bunch of rah 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 rah. So
Yeah, that's
I
the noise he
don't.
makes.
Yeah, exactly. I had only seen the reply. I didn't see the tweet that he was actually responding to, which only makes it worse in comparison. What he was actually saying there. Dalify replied back saying, "Is this guy famous or something? Because I don't know who he is." And of course, that did not go over very well with Mr. Liu. Now, if you guys recall, wasn't this the same guy, Simu Liu, who several months ago basically attacked like a business owner because he was trying to sell boba tea, and he felt like that you can't sell boba tea because you're not Asian, so he's not going to support this. Like, he's that big of a douchebag about this whole like situation, like really. And he's been coming out and just making some completely asinine statements here recently. I think you got something here as well.
Yeah, it says, why plain rice, loose rice, is generally not considered a finger food. That's right. Unlike pizza and french fries, which have a texture or rigidity to them that make them easier to handle, rice is fucking messy as shit. Go ahead, try picking that shit up with a hand, right? You can do it when it's pressed into a ball, like it is with sushi, like when they press it into a shape. That's easy to pick up, like those rice balls. They're pressed into a shape. That's meant to be held by your hand. But just regular old loose rice, straight out of the rice cooker. You're supposed to use a utensil for that. That's right. That's how you do that. Now, I understand people brought up Jesus for this, by the way. If you don't know, they brought up Jesus in defense of this. Well, in the Bible, Jesus is eating out of a bowl with his hands. Yes, he's also walking around in a dress, wearing sandals, because he didn't have anything else at the time. You know what he didn't have? He didn't have a smartphone. He didn't have a car. Yeah. I don't think you're going to be giving that one up. Now, are you, Simu Liu, to be more like Christ, right? No, I don't think that's going to happen either. So maybe we use a fork and we use spoons and knives in the West, and you can eat with your toes anywhere else in the world, okay?
Jesus also said, if you don't believe him, you're going to hell. Are we now looking at all the things that Jesus ever said and taking them seriously? Or just
That's
specifically the eating with the bowl at the hands? Is that the only thing that we're taking seriously now? Oh, I got a whole rant based on that later tonight. I'm going to save it for tonight, though. But, oh, by the way, Rick's here. How's it going, Rick?
It's going pretty good. Thank you.
Listen, guys, I just want the discourse over this can be perfectly summed up in a scene from Kill Bill Volume 2. Where I'm gonna fuck up his name, Jaime. There it is. I didn't fuck it up. Like Uma Thurman, like she can't pick up the chopsticks to eat the rice because she's been training so hard. She's been working her ass off. She's been, but her hand hurts. She can't use the chopsticks, and so she starts using her hands to eat the rice. And he knocks her bowl of rice on the floor. And says, if you want to eat like a dog, you can. Or if you want to act like a dog, you can eat the rice on the floor. And it's just a way of saying you're a human being. You're civilized. Okay, you act as a human being does. And I'm sure Cider can sum this up much better than I can. But it's such a great scene, and I never thought I would be using that in modern discourse. But like there just culturally, there are some foods that it's acceptable to, eat with your hands. You're also not putting your hands in your mouth, like we've seen the practice of. So it's just that would be my own take on it. But yeah, I think that scene kind of perfectly sums it up.
It's Terminator Joe. It outside of the West, particularly in Southeast Asia, parts of Central Africa. Due to, like regular old limitations on money, limitations on access to these materials should they break down or whatever, places that don't have a lot of metal to work with. These utensils just didn't find their way into the modern era. And that's why these cultures where Zorhan likes to say that he's very man of the world because he went and hung out with a bunch of people not of his racial descent. That's what they do now. They go hang out, get their pictures taken with people who are different from them, and they go, aha, I am not racist, you see? I am hanging out with these people, and they're different from me. And it's crazy. So, And in his pictures, he is eating rice with his hands, as is the custom in their land. But again, it is, if you ask these people, hey man, would you like to use a fork? Would you like to use a spoon? Does that seem like that might be a little easy? They're probably going to be like, yeah, I probably would like to use a fork and a spoon because what do you know? That is a little easier. How about that?
So I wanted to point this out here too. Rick, did you already say hey? I'm not sure if we acknowledged you already.
Oh yeah. I already said hello.
He's mid-burger.
It's literally every single time on cue.
Yep.
So
but I'm eating, but with my hands because it is a sandwich, and I think the sandwich you do not eat with a fork and knife. I think you eat it with your hands. So I'm good.
Okay, so I wanted to show you this because this is kind of in the line of this. Speaking of cultural outrage, a lot of Indians are upset because a YouTuber went to India during the poo throwing festival, which some people try to pretend like doesn't actually happen for some weird reason, even though we have the internet in 2025. So he went out there, filmed the whole thing, and now Indians are basically sending him death threats because the poo festival got exposed. Everyone knows that this is what they do now in the open. So parental advisory, discretion advised. That's what the cops intro says, right? Just tell the kids should probably not watch this with their parents or something like that. Here you go. This is poo festival in India. I'm sinking. He's wearing some sort of hazmat painter suit, and that is not nearly enough protection for where you are currently at, my friend. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, his mouth is closed.
By the way, people have tried to defend us by saying,
Why
no.
are we watching this, Jacob? Why? God.
By the way, people try to defend this by saying, no, don't worry, it's only cow poop. It's like, I am 99% sure there's some human shit in that too.
Okay, wait a minute. Why would that be any better? They're gonna kill me. You wash your vegetables before you eat them, right? The ones out of the ground. I hope you do that, folks.
Guys,
I thought cows were sacred in India.
Yes, this is part of the celebration of one of their deities is born out of cow dung. One of their million deities is born out of cow dung. Yes.
Guys,
well, they all look very happy.
Is this culture? Is this what culture is?
This is
Spare me! No good! Nothing! Don't kill me! Spare me! They're sparing me! They're pacifists! Oh, so much shit! We keep pushing! I want untouched! I am the one who shits!
I'm the one who shits!
I'm sinking!
And then someone threw poop right on the side of his head, and it was a direct hit.
It's time to go. It's time to go. You need to get out of India. Go.
You need to go. You need to go to like the continent away from India. You need to go like a couple of continents away.
We
from
need
India.
to bring back the Raj. We need to bring back the Raj and have the.
And then this was the aftermath, and he literally looks like he just walked, like he just escaped Epstein Island. Like this is. Guys, I'm sorry. This may offend some people, but we need to be real here. There's no better example on this planet of a nation that God has completely cursed and forsaken than India. Is that fair to say?
That's a lot. Oh boy, but there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on.
I saw Monkey Man. I don't believe that.
Yeah, well, think how bad the Middle East is, and then think about Pakistan and India. So, I mean, which is worse? I mean, really, they're both just terrible places.
So they have
Pakistan is slightly worse, I would say, because Pakistan has no stable government. At least India has a relatively stable series of elections.
Doesn't Pakistan have nukes though? Aren't they constantly?
They both have.
Right, they're constantly threatening each other. They're gonna. Oh boy.
Yeah, The thing is India also has a celebration regarding the behemoth, and the behemoth is a device, a machine of some kind that they've built, and it's very big and it's very heavy. And for whatever reason, people, when they witness this machine, feel compelled to die by thrusting themselves in front of it and being crushed beneath its wheels. This has been going on for.
Isn't that like? Well, I think that's Juggernaut, and isn't that
Yes, I'm sorry, the Juggernaut. My
Juggernaut?
apologies.
That's where we got the term. That sounds a bit like beneath Planet of the Apes, where the human mutants worship the nuclear bomb that's about to kill them.
You're not talking about this thing, are you? Or is this another of a series of things that India is known for?
It's another series of things because this is an actual cart that is on wheels. It's not at all powered by animals.
That is what the that is how big the Trump ballroom is going to look like, people. Okay, so it's there for the elephant. The elephant is going to march into the Trump ballroom.
People die during this event, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
How couldn't they? Look at this. There's absolutely nothing keeping them away from trampling each other, let alone being trampled by the elephants. So.
Pink elephants on parade. Look out.
This Juggernaut thing, like there's a bunch of videos of all of this, people explaining a bunch of history about it. This is like, I don't know, at least 200 years this has been going on, if not longer.
Probably
these
longer.
People witness the Juggernaut and they just throw themselves into the wheels of it.
And not the Juggernaut from X-Men, just for the record.
Yeah, not the good one.
Now there is a lot of health violations, I presume, going on here, especially like when they bathe, and even when they bathe in the Ganges River, it's remarkably polluted because they pour the ashes of people that they have burned, cremated. They pour it into the Ganges River, and they also bathe in the Ganges River, and this was the Indus River, I believe. So it's, you've got the people bathing around the ashes, or where all the ashes are. It's and this whole poop thing is actually something I had not heard of. I knew that.
A lot of people hadn't.
I know that
it's because they've actively tried to deny it for centuries, and then someone actually went there and filmed it. So now the cat's out of the bag.
I know. Don't they have one where they throw tomatoes at each other? I thought that's what this was.
I hope it's tomatoes.
Well, there was one where they throw tomatoes. I don't know if that's in Italy or in Spain.
I think that's Spain, or yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds more like a Spanish thing to do. They really tomatoes play a very spiritual role in Spain, believe it or not.
I get tomatoes thrown at me all the time.
Oh,
was that supposed to be a joke?
Yeah, India.
Well, no, it's actual truth, because I do work at a downtown library where there's a lot of special people there, so I have dodged a few tomatoes in my time.
Oh.
Silence! I kill you!
Simu Liu is really
on
the
back to him.
receiving end of history right now. So just
and he's not Indian,
witness.
just for the record.
No, he is. He's proudly.
He would be so much worse if he was.
He's proudly Canadian Chinese. I think that's his heritage, and he's very proud of this. Because why would you want to be an American? That sounds awful.
Canada. That's
We've
another.
got the new Hitler.
Hitler, same as the last Hitler.
Yeah.
Well, no, much gayer this time. I assure you. Somehow, much gayer.
Much more effeminate.
Yeah.
Who's worse, Simu Liu?
I just wanted to point out that Simu Liu is the guy that was in the Barbie movie, who decided to be the opposing force to the main Ken. And the two of that, this Simu Liu Ken character was very flamboyantly gay in there, and he didn't seem to have too much of a struggle getting to that character. So,
but I think Simu Liu was in a roundabout way trying to defend Zoran Mamdani.
Yes. Don't die.
Please don't. You all right over there?
I'm still alive. Thank you very
This
much.
is why you don't eat and do podcasts at the same time.
Oh, I thought you said, well, I don't eat and do pot. I've never done pot. I'm the only person in this podcast who has not.
Yeah,
done
that's
pot.
not what I said.
And the strange thing is, I'm Mexican, and I'm the only person here who has not done pot. And you would think I would, but I don't, because I'm too waspy. Anyway, so Simu Liu was using this as a way. Yes, he was trying to defend Soran Manrani, who was eating with his hands. And eating rice. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know any culture that would eat with their hands, especially on a moving train.
Well, if you go to India, some places cook with their feet. So I mean, there's that.
Well, I know.
Right, there was the armpit guy. Oh,
go ahead, put your foot in my food. Go ahead, put your foot in my food.
I don't know.
Indian street food is a good way to test your immune system.
I do not believe Simu Liu is the final arbiter of what is authentically Asian or not Asian. And I'm perplexed as to why he has decided to place this burden on himself. By the way, when are we getting Shang-Chi 2?
I don't know, but guys, there's 4 billion Asians, okay? Do you know how many that is? There's 4 billion Asians. That's, okay, like, I'm a little stoned right now, but 4 billion, that's a lot of fucking people. And like one guy is going to speak on behalf of them.
Not only that, a Canadian at that?
4.
Right?
Sorry, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Imagine you're a Hong Kongese man and you find out that Simu Liu is telling everybody that you eat with your hands.
Yeah, no, Simu Liu is definitely more insufferable.
Chap, I've never done that in my life. Excuse you.
There's a difference between douchey and insufferable, and Simu is insufferable.
I'm going to have to watch. I'm going to have to watch Gandhi again to see if the Mahatma
Simu
is
Liu
eating
is
with
in
his
it?
hands. Well, he might be. Yes, I think he played.
He plays Gandhi in that.
He plays Jinnah. No, he plays Jinnah. He plays Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan.
Rick, do me a favor, and the first time that you smoke, you have to do it while watching Gandhi. So you just feel guilty that you're stuffing your face while this guy is starving himself. And yes, I stole that from the 40-Year-Old Virgin, where Seth Rogen and Jane Lynch are talking about being baked and watching Gandhi. Anyway, I'm done.
I don't think I will. I'm first off, I'm a little past it to be trying it for the very first time. Though I did get secondhand smoke at the Dave Matthews Band concert.
It's not real.
Okay, anyway, we're moving on. Amazon Prime is doing another show whining about Trump, and this is going to lead us to our next a couple of conversations here, because there's a lot of Trump whining happening at the moment. This is from the Huffington Post, and I just wanted to read this article pretty quickly because it's all about the show. We've talked about The Boys on other episodes where the showrunner of that whole thing is like, Homelander is Trump, and I can't stand you guys liking Homelander because he's Trump. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it, guys. We get it.
It's like the Savant as well.
No, the Savant got canceled. Well, it's on hold. It's not canceled, but they could bring that one back. Well, but this is Gen V, which is the spinoff of The Boys. Go ahead, Cider.
I was just going to say, Eric Kripke said that, of course, he was a Trump, and I don't like that you guys like Homelander, blah, blah, blah. The biggest problem that Eric Kripke has in all of this is that Homelander was never meant to be Trump. He was never meant to be a president. He was meant to be a fucking sociopath that got off on torturing people. That was supposed to be his thing.
And liberals think that that's Trump. So it makes perfect sense. It mirrors the world that we're in today, Cider. And this is what this article is saying here. Douche chills for this article. This is another hit show that is not afraid to go after the president and his supporters at the time when so many institutions are bending the knee. That this is the world. This is the world they live in.
How is that possible? Since One Battle After Another is going to win the most Oscars in all.
It's going to
history.
sweep.
Exactly.
One Battle After Another is such a powerful movie for this time. It got people to shut up about Sinners for the first time in 9 months. That's how powerful that movie is.
Yeah, but let's be honest. It's because it has the whole Black Power bullshit in it, you know? So,
yeah.
I mean, it kind of replaced the holding pattern that Sinners had for a while, so I think that was more of it.
TV land lately has been filled with shows that are accidentally or purposely mirroring real-world politics. It's all on purpose. We talked about this literally a few weeks back. Leftists keep writing self-fulfilling prophecies in television shows, and then people like this write articles talk about, oh my god, this is so timely to the world that we're living in right now. It's almost as if it's happening right now. That was literally the entire discourse of last week's show.
Well, how the hell do you watch television and say to yourself, well, this is clearly by accident? What?
Yeah.
Huh? There's nothing in the shot that's by accident. How could the timing be by accident?
So, Prime Video's hit series The Boys has lived in that space seamlessly or shamelessly for most of its 4-season run. And this is why people said they hated that, because they basically made it all about Trump. Just like everything, it's all about Trump. The college spin-off series Gen V falls right in line too, especially with season 2. The show, which wrapped its second season on October 22nd, follows a group of superpowered students at Gobbledygook University as they snuff out a sinister
University.
I like Gobbledygook University way better. Sinister conspiracy about a soups-killing virus at their college. So that the spin-off of parallel with the timeline of The Boys, with season 2 picking up just after the inherently fascist Trump-like figure Homelander seized control of America and declared martial law at the end of the flagship show's 4th season. That's exactly what Trump is about to do, guys. It's just like Trump. It's happening right now.
He's doing that in Portland and St. Louis and Chicago and Washington, D.C. Only New York will be spared because Zoran will stand up to him.
Yeah.
While he's eating rice with his hands.
Exactly.
Every superhero across the nation reporting to him, and it says that goes for the soups at God you too. Oh, well, that's subtle. Where MAGA influences and conservative Vought have the upper hand on campus, because that's a replay of reality, right? That's a complete window of the reality that we live in today, where just the MAGA people absolutely dominate college campuses in 2025, especially in this country.
It's red hats everywhere, you know.
They
People
dominate
just shouting,
so much.
There's only 2 genders, you know.
No, they dominate so much in college campuses that they literally get shot down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's so fascist. The right-wing people are just shooting people in the neck in broad daylight. It's crazy how this mirrors the world that we're in today.
And then the story about it and all conversation about it completely disappears from the zeitgeist within a month.
Yeah. Except for when people lose their jobs and then people complain about it. It's like, oh, I thought you guys were against cancel culture. I thought you guys didn't support murder. So here we are.
Yeah. There's a distinct difference in power here. Okay?
Yeah. I guess now we're both surprised, right?
Severity of the issue. Media literacy, perhaps. Which would you like?
Do we remember or do we forget that, like, you know, the White House's message about how this upcoming winter is going to be very dark for the unvaccinated? I mean, you were literally threatening you were saying that people were going to die if they didn't take your fucking bullshit vaccine. So I'm sorry, you can go fuck yourselves. You can go fuck yourselves with telling people that, oh yeah, I'm glad people died. I'm glad people were murdered. Okay, well, a company can decide you don't want to hire.
Remember when?
Go fuck yourself.
Remember when the biggest late night host in the country were saying that, yeah, if you're unvaccinated, you deserve to die at the hospital. You deserve it. But it's your fault.
Just one life.
It was the same guy who's mocking Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Weird.
And now all of a sudden,
it's a death cult, guys. It's almost like it's a death cult.
And all of a sudden, he's the hero for free speech in America. Isn't it weird how that happened? It is just weird.
And then nobody cared a week later.
Yep. Everyone immediately stopped talking about it. So apparently Marie, Jordan, Emma, these are all characters on the show. I guess they're gay. I'm just going to assume that they're gay. I'm probably
just
right.
assume they're gay. It's a 50-50 shot.
Here we go. The parallels between the Boys universe and Trump 2.0 are too spot on to ignore.
Yep.
You guys are just the most insufferable people.
Here's the thing.
It's almost like the writers did that on purpose or something. This is crazy. Whoa.
This is like very easy to sort of track, and I'm sure like I'm stating the obvious here, but like they claim things and then they write things to fit the thing they originally claimed.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all that's going on here.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
And then you write a show and then fit it to the thing you already made up. So it's not, that's elementary storytelling. That's elementary framing. That's every journalist, every writer, everybody that wants to tell a story or concoct a narrative understands this fundamentally. It's literally a part of all of that. So I just am amazed that so many people don't use critical thinking skills to get around this, because it's right there. It's just, anyway.
Because Trump is literally Hitler. That's what you have to understand. Trump is bad. That's all that needs to be said here. Like, this is the most blatant example of propaganda and programming that we've probably had in our history. Because, like I said, back in the day, they used to be subtle. Back in the day, you used to kind of question it, but if it wasn't quite on the nose, we'd be like, maybe, maybe not. Now it's just right in your face. They're not even trying to hide it, and people are still falling for it, which makes it even worse.
But do you know how many, this is what's so fucking funny about the 20th century. It's like Hitler isn't even, he might be in the top 5. You have Stalin, and you have Mao that at the very least come before him. And then, I don't know. There's all kinds of terrible people who did terrible things in the 20th century. Yes, what Adolf Hitler did was absolutely atrocious, but it's like, he's not even like the worst of the worst. Like, but I'm reading Animal Farm right now, by the way.
Yeah. But what's even dumber than that, the same people calling you Hitler, calling you Nazi, using that euphemism everywhere they go, are the same ones actively calling for the eradication of Israel and the Jews as we speak. They're going around saying, free Palestine to the river and the sea. That means eradicate Israel. That means kill them all so that the Muslims can have all the land. That's what it means. But they're calling you the Nazi. They're calling you the Hitler. You have the exact same objective that Hitler did. The exact same. What else to go on here? I say even more so now that Gen V5 whatever has carried the torch. Says many times creator Eric was it Kripke? Yeah, has said that Kripke has said that his superhero satires aren't trying to predict the future. No, you're just trying to make a series about Trump's the bad guy. So you'd be like, I don't know why my series aligns with the world that we live in today. I guess it's just a big old coincidence. They're always on point with what's happening in our current reality. Just like the leader is abusing power to carry out their own agenda. Boom, boom, boom. Perhaps these over-exaggerated yet oddly accurate depictions of American politics are more what we need right now to understand what's at stake in this country. In any case, we need more. We need more. You guys don't understand how bad this country is right now with Trump.
Yeah,
it's another.
He demolished the White House. I understand the whole thing is gone.
Yeah.
Yep. Blew it up.
Guys, Trump may never leave the White House. He may be permanent dictator. I know he's 81.
No, he blew up the White House.
But he may never actually leave ever. That's a realistic possibility.
It was like the aliens in Independence Day. That's what Trump did to the White House. It just all went up there.
That's right.
So I'm still dealing with this with my parents, with the whole okay, you guys haven't learned the whole stop reacting to what Trump says. He's saying things to get you to this place of freaking out. And this is why he always has the advantage. Right now, they're shut down. He's not going to fucking do a thing. He told you he was going to cut Medicaid. He told you he was going to cut shit out of the ACA. And where are we? Oh, you're fucking nowhere because you're going to bend the knee because you have to, because your constituents were promised by you that you were going to provide government health care. And guess what? You're going to fail. And guess what? I'm negatively impacted by this. My job is negatively impacted by these subsidies not passing. And guess what? I don't give a fuck, because that's what the government that the people voted into office, that's what they voted for. So guess what? That's what's going to happen.
But it's always an overreaction. No matter what it is, they develop this kind of Marx Brothers mindset of whatever it is, I'm against it. It doesn't matter. Here are the people saying, the people who pledged to demolish the Trump ballroom on day one, they should be president, and we're going to blow up the ballroom. I mean, for heaven's sakes, enough. Just stop reacting to everything.
It's ego. It's ego and it's delusion mixed together in a dangerous combination. These people think that they're the Marvel superheroes of this story, and they think that the only thing that's stopping America from plunging into an authoritarian dictatorship is their voice. That's how arrogant and delusional these people have come.
They're the resistance.
And the reason why this is particularly more irritating than previous years is because we've already been through this. We're just recycling 2017 all over again. This is first year Trump, left meltdown about everything. This is literally 2017 recycled. I've seen this movie already. Do you guys have anything new? Nope, we're just going to keep doing the same thing that we did several years ago. Okay, fine. Let's just go ahead and do that then. Let's just absolutely do that.
How he liked his steak was an affront to meat eating and just contributing to the world burning down.
Yeah, it was bad though.
Remember alligator Alcatraz that never turned out to be a real thing? Remember that? Remember when they were going to feed brown people to alligators? Remember that? Remember that?
Okay, but for real, the steak thing is the literal worst thing about Trump. So if we can just be honest about that, because like you could listen, a lot of the hyperbole that people come up with about him, isn't even remotely true. But there are some bad taste markers that I'm just like, okay, I'm sorry, guys. His review, by the way, go on YouTube and watch his review of Citizen Kane. It is fucking amazing to watch.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, little as you know, Trump's a cinephile.
Yeah, right.
Is that why he demolished the White House theater? I mean,
is that what he did?
Yes.
Oh,
he demolished it.
It's all right.
And we lost history. Thomas Jefferson used to watch movies in that theater.
Wait, I'm sorry, who?
Thomas Jefferson used to watch movies in that theater.
I just want to make sure I got that right.
Because
in the 18th century.
Yes, because that's what we're led to believe. I mean, these people are actually upset that the East Wing, which is like where the First Lady's offices are, that's all gone. That's all gone. And so we're supposed to mourn the Office of Calligraphy is no longer there. The White House movie theater is no longer there. They don't seem to understand. I shared that
Nixon's
thing with
bowling alley's doing just fine, baby.
You know what? Nixon's the one. And you have all these people. I think William Daniels, bless his soul. We respect William Daniels here, but I think he got the East Room and the East Wing confused because he is in his 90s, where he was upset that he thought the East Room had been demolished. No, that's the East Wing. There is a difference. We don't know if he knew the difference or not, but people need to always calm down when it comes to Trump. They do, and I say this as someone who's not a supporter and who didn't vote for him. But people
double down, baby.
Just need to calm down and not react and say, everything he does, I'm going to oppose. Maybe on a rare occasion, he's actually right about something. I know it's a shock.
Trump can't be right. This has to be the default reaction of all time.
I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds.
And a perfect example of this, right into our next topic here. Leftists, look, TDS started as a joke. It was a joke that people on the right created to mock people on the left, right? It was a joke. It was a meme. That's how it started. No one really took it seriously. They were just using it as a slander. We have to come to the conclusion now that it's actually a real thing. People are fundamentally losing their minds at everything Trump has done. And there was no perfect example of this than what we saw last night. The reaction by leftists, completely and utterly deranged by Trump over this. Homeland Security posted a meme of Halo, the video game Halo, saying, destroy the flood, which is clearly a reference to the video game, and join ICE. That's it. This is all that they posted. This was absolutely everything that was posted. There was no other context here. There's nothing more to this story outside of this post. And the left had an absolute total meltdown yesterday. Let's start with our boy Angry Joe. There's several of these, and I'm going to read them all because I need to show you how far these people have gone off the reservation here. Joe's reaction to this: F ICE, F Donald Trump, get the F out of here using Halo for your shitty, dehumanizing police state propaganda. No one thinks your shit is cool besides low IQ, her, MAGA cult on X, who half of those are bots. Y'all gonna find out soon in the next election. Okay, Joe still has not come to the realization that he is currently experiencing the results of the last election. That was only a year ago. He still has not come to that yet. But there's more. He went on a tirade going after absolutely everyone. Like, he got triggered to an absurd degree and went after a whole bunch of people. Here's a wall of text towards our Animan TV. Who just essentially replied, be angry, Joe. Halo's mad, used by conservatives. Composer of series is a conservative. Game's entire plot is religious allegory. Flood, arc, Halo, biblical references. Point of the plot is defeating beings who invade and impose their religion upon humanity against their will. Plot of the series goes over this guy's head. These guys are just retarded. This is basically what he said. Here's how Joe responded. Eddieman here says that and clutch his pearls because he doesn't know, dislikes Donald Trump and how ICE has conducted themselves. I'm just going to say this here. We've talked about things on this show that we can legitimately criticize Donald Trump for. With that said, I cannot pretend to care that leftists are angry about ICE and the fact that illegals are getting deported from this country. We all knew that he was going to run on this several years ago. We all know that the border had been swung wide open over Biden. We had people from China and Afghanistan and Syria coming in from Mexico. It was a wide open border and no one wanted to acknowledge the problem. He's only been saying this for years, and now he's doing exactly what he said that he was going to do, and now these people are losing their minds about it. Average Joe
it looks like a communist manifesto. Look at this.
This is only one of several. Like I said, these people lost their minds yesterday. But here it is. Breaking into people's homes without warrants, arresting U.S. citizens, profiling, ramming people off the roads, killing people by mistake, bullying with the badges.
All of those have happened to me.
Literally, he's dead right now. He's not even alive. It's this disinvited voice you're listening to.
That's right. It's a seance.
A disinvited one.
Lick their boots and be a good little boy by jumping to the defense of stupid meme usage. Whine and cry that others are standing up against what they consider dumb bullshit. Bring up a bunch of unrelated points to make Halo religious themes, its music, its plot games, the soundtracks, composers, and stupid shit that he's talking about just to get his feelings hurt by a tweet that's completely unrelated. You got your feelings hurt over a meme, Joe. You wrote a wall of text over a meme. This is when I talk about peak delusion. They don't see themselves as the villains. They think they're the heroes. You're doing exactly what you're accusing this other guy of doing. Be a general snowflake about other people not liking ICE recruitment propaganda and using shit without permission like they did with Pokemon. Calling others retarded like a big boy on the internet makes retarded point to defend a trash meme. Did I miss anything? Pathetic, dude. You're better than this. So now he's belittling you. I love this part of the story when they're belittling you. No one has a problem with conservatives here. You. What did you just say, Joe? What did you just say? Do I have to bring back the last tweet? It's like, I don't know, maybe he gets in like this circle where he starts rambling on and he can't even remember what he just said 5 minutes earlier. I have a problem with, I also have conservative views. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Shut up. This propaganda poster was created and have a mass police force alluding to human beings being mutilated flood, which is the UNSC destroys. It kills. Huh?
Mutated, not mutilated. He put
mutated. Did I say mutated? Oh, I said mutated. My bad.
No, I think he meant mutilated, but he wrote mutated. So they're becoming mutants. They're becoming the X-Men.
that destroys and kills with prejudice, but it's just a meme from an official government account that attracts certain types of people. Clearly you. That's cool, man. Keep God bless your righteous mission and keep licking those boots. There's more. I'm not done. There's a lot of here. From Joe went on a tirade. I'm reading all of it because there's a lot of people who mirror Joe right now. Power to the players. Trump literally talks shit about the video games and gamers until someone told him to cut it out. Has increased prices on shit gamers as a direct result of his stupid, haphazard, authoritarian, dumb shit executive orders. These motherfuckers think that he's a fan that gives a shit about Halo or gamers. He's worse than Master Cheeks.
I thought that was Matt Walsh who didn't like gamers.
Yeah.
No. So that's a counterpoint that I'll get to when we're done with this whole tirade, but we're not. There's more here. Here's another wall of text here. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Let me get this one here. This is a completely different wall of text from Joe. Wait, dude, are you actually stupid? I've never said anything about Halo not being a religious game. I've never mentioned religion in my original tweet that triggered your snowflake ass. Again, he's calling other people snowflakes when he's the one who got triggered by a meme in the first place. So this is what we like to call literal projection. You brought up religion to somehow defend the government's use of a meme? How? I took issue to the government using Halo to engage in dumb shit culture wars to divide us. It was a meme. It was a meme about ice. That's all it was.
Even if it wasn't, Joe, what do you call late night television? What do you call any form of liberal entertainment right now? Right now, this very minute, any type, and take your pick, any level. Video games, comic books, movies, television shows. Hell, I even think the little Tamagotchi monsters propagandize to you now about cutting your dick off. So, Joe, I think you might be overstepping this one a little bit. This culture war being invasive into things that you like? Oh no! Try having Star Wars try to indicate a period, changing a lightsaber to red. Okay, try that one, Joe. That's what happened in The Acolyte. This bitch got so mad, she ragged so hard, her lightsaber turned red.
Oh, boy.
There's more. Where was I? Yes. I take it back. You literally aren't better than this. Calling me retarded and a dumbass a ripoff, all while you're over here arguing with yourself about Halo's religion. Maybe someone should change your name to dumbass. Yeah, take that. Take that.
Millennial quips will never be the same.
I was gonna say, why are the insults like from a 12-year-old? It is the trash.
Channel awesome.
What? Okay.
Yeah, that was the thing for a while. Not done. Someone should tell. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Angry Joe and Linkara used to be part of the same network. They used to hang out together. Okay, just to help you, kind of like. Do you know who Linkara is?
Yeah. I know who Linkara is.
Rob doesn't know. We have so much to show him. Like, for once, I'm the guy that knows something.
I know who Vampira is. I don't know who.
Anyway, someone should tell this dude that the tariffs did in fact increase prices for the first increase for Xbox. Experts agree. Even other CEOs admit. We're going to talk about this point here later on once we're done with the rants. I just want to go to the rants first. Corporate greed then contributed to the second price increase because it's the corporations, man. And I guess they and the others used to justify that. General market instability, say it with me, Trump is creating by announcing and rescinding and announcing tariffs anytime anyone on TV says something he doesn't like. Pay the fuck attention. He's enabling corporate greed. Do you think that Trump wants regulation and higher taxes on these companies or the opposite? By the way, didn't EA just get bought by the Sonys? Did the Saudis just buy? I'll say that for the end here because that's a whole other conversation. So that gives these corporations the sole objective to make more profit. The cover that they need to go ahead and make more profit worldwide by increasing prices with all the shit that's going on. By the way, tariffs are taxes on you. I hope that you were told too. We, and they're paying these tariffs as much as all of these companies are. Boom, boom, boom. There's more. Here's another.
Wow.
Oh, you guys thought I was kidding when I said absolute meltdown. This is him replying to Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers because why wouldn't he apply to Jeremy? Yeah, Jeremy just said you should keep posting about Trump, Joe. Never stop, destroy him. He said, I'll post about Trump every time you do, my love. Nah, just kidding. We both know that's a lie. I can never keep up with your Trump posting count. It would be impossible. No one polishes his slong like you do with Trump's 240-pound pair of muscle king memes. Keep them coming. So
I don't even understand what any of that means. I mean, I'm just puzzled by all.
Yeah. Here's another wall of text. Yeah, here you go. LOL. So no reason to hate the police who abuse their power, huh? Mass police force who kidnap and separate families at elementary school, even at immigration court proceedings for naturalization. By the way, who killed people at ICE detention centers recently? Was that us? Was that MAGA who did that? Can anyone confirm?
That was
us?
People.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, just making sure. But you clearly haven't seen. Yeah, you clearly haven't seen ICE breaking their own laws as much as it meets to the quotas of dear leader. Or if you don't care, that's cool. Keep pretending that they don't, and the only target are really bad hombres, murderers, and killers. They are. But by the way, I'm gonna pause here for this rant. I literally saw people whining and complaining about the fact that Trump was essentially drone striking South Colombian or South American drug cartels.
What?
Are we simping for cartels now? Is that what we're doing now? Because there was a press conference like sometime like last week, I think it was, where somebody had one of the person in the press asked Trump was like, "Are you going to declare war or sign for a declaration of war since you're killing drug cartels?" It's like, no, we don't need a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill them. I think we're just going to kill all the people who bring drugs into our country. And people were legitimately upset by this. And it's like, first of all, a declaration of war is for nations. We're not declaring war on Venezuela, so there's no need for a declaration of war. Second of all, we're talking about uber violent drug cartels who bring drugs into the country, who do human trafficking and smuggling and a whole bunch of horrific things. Are we now simping for drug cartels just because Trump opposes them? Is that what we're doing now? We're talking about people who will literally violently dismember people who they consider to be enemies and then post about it online. Look, I don't know if 4chan is still a thing. But if you want to see some of the most horrific videos you've ever seen in your entire life, brought to you by the same drug cartels we're now whining about that Trump is bombing, go out there and find those videos and then try to convince me somehow these are the innocent people. Oh, are you guys not human anymore? Are you kidding me right now? Is this what we're doing?
That would be a great ending for in a future Narcos series. Like have the bombs drop on them as they're coming, trying to.
Yeah, they already ruined that series by not actually telling like the most interesting version, which whole Gary Webb Dark Alliance storyline from the 1980s. But I just think it's interesting that Obama literally drone striked an American citizen, albeit on foreign soil, and people are upset that Trump is literally targeting drug dealers. So and listen, I understand, legitimate constitutional law arguments against whatever you want to call them, extrajudicial killings. But the issue here is that like we already have the CIA, like we never hear about the people they're killing ever, and it's like there's an obvious reason for that. And it's like, look, if you think that he's guilty of something, whatever, but like he's not. There's no like if you want to say that you didn't have the intelligence, how do you know? Like it's you know what I mean? It's people questioning a person that they do not have. They don't have the checks and balances to put on Trump. It's like he hasn't done anything wrong. He's exercising his right as commander in chief. He's eliminating a dangerous threat to this country. You can say that, oh well, this creates a other presidents could, yeah, okay. And Obama signed the NDAA, which allowed the army to take over entire American cities, which was part of the Patriot Act, extended from 2001. So like literally, we've been down this road for a while. And if you're afraid that because Trump is bombing some fucking drug dealers from Venezuela, I mean, seriously, we got bigger fish to fry.
Now, wait a minute. I know Jacob said that they're human smugglers. They're not. They are the Underground Railroad. They are the new Underground Railroad as portrayed in One Battle After Another. All right, so let's just get that straight.
By the way, I just want to point this out here too, because like one of the last posts I have here is a reference to Epstein. You do realize that these drug cartels rape little girls, right? So if you're gonna sit there and stand on the Epstein card because you somehow think you have that card to play now, which is very, very hilarious to me, just understand the people who you're actually defending are the ones who are actually raping children. So,
I'm not no, I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm just reading some of this post, and I don't know if all of these hardworking dudes actually pay billions in taxes.
well, so I'm gonna finish this point, and then I'm gonna make a point about this post here that he's making. Yeah, basically, he goes on to say that children and hardworking dudes might actually be good for some of the shit and pay billions in taxes. Immigrants belong in America. First of all, there's people who have been here for years who shouldn't be here. They got to go back. Sorry, just because you say base and you've been here a long enough time doesn't mean that we just let you go. That's never how this country has ever worked ever. Some of the other ways to handle illegals are already working their asses off, besides another $75 billion of your tax money that the Trump military, like a Gestapo force, who are these people going to get used to power tripping to put the people's necks? Who's next afterwards? By the way, he put out a graph here, which this is how much the budget of ICE is compared to other nations. Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions here, Joe. One, what is the population of the United States of America versus these nations? And how many illegal immigrants do we have in this nation versus the nations that you're using here? That would probably be the quickest answer to your question there. While you're trying to complain about, oh my God, look at all the money that they're spending on ICE. There's a fucking reason.
Singapore?
Huh?
People aren't rushing to go into Singapore. They aren't
No.
getting on boats and hiding there.
Apparently, Morocco does not have a whole bunch of illegal. Iran, you would think that Iran will just be like bleeding illegals, right? Like you think that they would just be running to get into that nation, but apparently not. Apparently not. And then this was his last one to Jeremy, who replied to him with the fat JD Vance meme on Halo. So then, of course, he replies here with, still waiting for those Epstein files you were pissed off and worked up earlier a few weeks ago, right, Jeremy? Or have they convinced you that to forget about them so easily? Lowest presidential approval rating ever, aside from Nixon. Keep winning, y'all. Thumbs up. Now, this literally went on all night. All night that this went on. This was a full-fledged, complete, total, utter meltdown by Joe. And there are a lot of people out there who follow Joe's sentiments here. So again, let's kind of get back to the point of this whole situation here. This started over a meme. A meme. And that led to all of that we saw. So, Rick, I'll start with you, since ICE is such a personal issue with you. What is your thoughts on the complete and total meltdown of Angry Joe?
First off, I don't know who this person is. This is the first time I've ever heard of Angry Joe in my life. And
for those kids, real quick, for those kids who don't know who Angry Joe is, Angry Joe was a video game YouTuber who did reviews and other content. His channel was big about 10 years ago, and then of course, like everybody else, Trump came along and ruined his life, and it's been all downhill since. And he's been basically picking fights with every YouTuber imaginable on the sole reason of Donald Trump. So that's who he is.
Oh, okay. Well, I would say that first, I think he does protest too much. I don't understand why he needs to have this meltdown. He's perfectly free to oppose Trump, disagree with Trump. I don't think that's as out of the ordinary. But to respond to all of these people, he's not going to convince anyone that he's right if he keeps going on these tirades. What you need to do is just say, you could say either this is not my field of expertise, I'm going to go back to my video games, or you could say, look, I oppose Trump, I disagree with you, and here's why, X, Y, Z. But to go in on these personal attacks and to try to convince people that you're right by yelling at them, no one's ever been convinced of anything by you yelling at them and berating them. I've never known anyone who has changed their mind on anything just because you yelled loud enough and were all but slapping them, beating them up, shooting them. I don't understand the logic. He's just angry, and he's so convinced. My thinking is he's so convinced that he's right and he's doing his best to save the republic that he needs to just yell at people left, right, and center. It's within his right to do so, but what's the end game? Is he going to convince anyone, or is he just going to come across as looking as a complete loon? So just angry Joe, go on a vacation. Just go to the beach, go to Jamaica, the safe parts, of course. Go anywhere you want and just take in the air. Go to the mountains. I'll even say you should go ahead and smoke some pot if you want to. Just kind of see if you can calm down, because you need to rest. You need to rest before we just all lock you up.
I got tired reading that, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
So cálmese, mijo. That's all I got to say.
Rob?
I mean, yeah, I don't know who this gentleman is. Apparently he's in the video game world, so maybe Cassie is familiar with him. Yeah,
I think him and Cassie got into it a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So,
yeah. I'm shocked.
So yeah, I probably wouldn't know who he is anyway, but it's like you tell yourself a story and you believe it. And Joan Didion had a great quote: "People tell themselves stories in order to live." And what that means basically is like, we all come to a point in life where we just, and again, maybe I'm being general here, but we can't accept the thing that happened. So we tell ourselves a story about what it really is and how it really was and how it went. And I think that's a lot of this stuff. And look, I was I was never apoplectic about Trump, but I certainly was never a supporter. And then in 2019, I just saw this thing where it was like, something clicked for me. And maybe it was watching ROTC, Revenge of the Sis, and then just cracking jokes about everything and making fun of people. But just something happened where it was like, yes, I understand what people are responding to. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But also, like, you're allowing yourself to, get twisted. You're allowing yourself to become warped. You're allowing yourself to become this other thing that you are not. That all the wonderful qualities that you have as a person, and I'm being very generous when I say that. No, but seriously, all the good things that are good about you, that make people like you, that your friends like, that your loved ones enjoy about you, you're allowing that to become soured because of a political ideology, because you're so warped in this view of who this guy is and what he's doing to your country. You were never patriotic before. You never really flew the flag. So it's weird that you're a patriot now. Anyway, let's just go there. Anyway, but it's fine. It's fine. My whole thing was, I'm not ever going to allow myself to become warped and twisted and soured because of a politician. People who lie for a living. Really? That's what you're paying attention to? You think the world is ending because there will be politicians that come after Trump? There were people that came before him. He's not Hitler. He's not Stalin. He's not. No. First of all, the power structure is way too against him for that to ever become a reality. Two, he's like he cares too much about being liked to ever do anything like that. You know what I mean? He's doing what he ran on. And in another year, listen, if the country really is so pro Democrats and what they've been running on and hating Trump and all this stuff, right, that the echo chamber keeps repeating, then you have nothing to worry about in the midterms, do you? You have nothing to worry about, right? Because, everybody agrees with you. Everybody thinks Trump's awful and he's a dictator and he's the worst thing that's ever happened. Here's the thing. I know a little something about history, and he's not remotely the worst thing that's ever happened to this country. I'm sorry.
No.
You may not like it. You may not like the optics. It may hurt your feelings. Too bad. Too fucking bad. It's not what you say it is. And if you were an honest person, you would be able to see that. You would be able to look at reality and say, okay, is this my own hysteria? Are these my own fears and my own worries? Or is there a historical precedence for this? Let's actually look at the data. Let's look at the things that precipitated these events. But you don't want to do that because that would actually, call you out on your bullshit. So that's what I would say. Don't twist yourself up. Hey, his power is gone in a year if the Democrats do well in the midterms. So again, you have nothing to worry about, Democratic Party supporters. Frankly, here's my final thing. You haven't done anything for 10 fucking years. You've sat on your fucking hands, including having the White House, for 10 fucking years. You never led on anything. It was always Trump's awful. It was never your own policies. It was never, hey, let's improve the lives of our voters and our constituents and the people that we claim to care about. No, we're fucking full of shit assholes who did absolutely nothing. We could have passed Roe v. Wade. We could have enacted that into law. But did you? No, you sat on your fucking hands like a bunch of fucking losers. Congratulations.
Well, we are correcting now. I mean, we're going to get Zoran to be mayor, and Sider's going to have that Nazi commie as his senator. So, they are finally moving forward. And soon they will run this country. And, you'll have President AOC. So, we should all be fine. We'll all be in good hands.
If New York City is electing a Muslim communist, a woman's not going to run from New York. It's not going to happen. Cider, you do know who Angry Joe is. You're well versed in Angry Joe. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't paid much attention to Angry Joe in quite some time. And I felt like over the last couple of years he had mellowed out a little bit. Maybe that's just because Biden was president for a little while. But it seems like he's right back to where he was the night that Trump won the first time. And he had the complete total meltdown. So is this what just Joe has become now?
Yeah, they, like you said, the TDS thing got to all of them, and they can't. He's alive, and they can't allow that. His very existence is a problem for them. So Joe may have calmed down in how he was being seen publicly, but in his videos and in his live streams, that stuff would still come up, and he would still get snippety about it. Interviews, he would still bring it up, just like how all those other random guys that wanted to make a name for themselves did. And this is what he does. These guys, similar to how you had like Nick Fuentes just bounce all over the place trying to piss people off with his stuff. Joe, when this stuff comes out, Joe decides that he's going to become like the hood ornament for left of center gamers for whatever reason. Hopefully he does not become the next Destiny, but I assume that before Destiny got really out of control or exposed as being really out of control, I assume that's the height of where Joe would like to find himself. A gamer legend that also has cool left of center political views, respected ones, you see. Mm-hmm. That seems to be where he's fallen, but he's another one of those ones that was ego driven, just like the rest of the Channel Awesome guys, and they couldn't see a future following Doug Walker around, and I can't blame them. He didn't see much of a future following himself around. But yeah.
Well, I have a quick question. This Destiny wasn't this Destiny Nick Fuentes' mistress?
No, I'm talking about a man. Oh yes, yeah, okay, you're right. Yep. Yeah. Well, it would be Fuentes would be the mistress of Destiny. Because
okay.
Destiny was married. May still be
married, quote unquote.
It's so confusing because I just hear bits and pieces of all of this, and I'm trying to put together all of these people that I've never heard of or have barely a passing knowledge of.
You did a pretty good job. You did a pretty good job. But yeah, Joe's one of those attention seekers that has kind of lost himself in it. A lot of the Channel Awesome guys ended up doing that. Like Linkara lost himself in it. He's a bit insufferable these days. Not that he wasn't before, but he's a bit more now.
Didn't he marry a dude? Like, isn't that something that happened too?
He tried. Well, he may have fully committed. That was the Great Iron Liz. That's right, the Great Iron Liz. We love Iron Liz. We love Iron Liz. Great Iron Liz. That's right.
What I don't understand in all this brouhaha and all the several brouhahas is why people just make this their whole lives and sad to say, I do know people who are so utterly fixated on the latest actions of Trump or on the latest actions of someone else. I've had a pretty comfortable life not thinking about this. I go, I vote, and then that's it. If the person I vote for wins, great. If the person I voted for didn't win, I'll live. I just don't understand why people just spend all day, every day, just fixated on Trump
Well,
or all of these other people. You have your lives to live. You have a very finite number of years, and here you are ranting and raving about someone who ultimately is going to have very little, if any, impact on your life, unless you're
No,
going to.
you don't understand, Rick.
Well, no,
Brown trucks.
maybe
The
they're
people
going
are
to go.
dying. People are getting
Maybe
shot. The
maybe they're
ice.
maybe they're going to go to the Trump ballroom, unless President Buttigieg demolishes it on day one.
oh boy.
So
But
People are getting shot while Ice Ice Baby plays in the background, and then the ICE agents are doing the Vanilla Ice dance into the trunk where they're taking away someone's grandmother because
I don't know.
she
The
was a
only
school
per
teacher
the
or
only
something.
person I
don't know.
saw shot was Charlie Kirk. That's the only person that I've seen shot in the past few months.
Yeah, and
both,
that totally was not celebrated.
well, both sides have been spun up, Rick, into the belief that this is the end of our republic. That the right believes that we are at the point here where we will fall into a communist hellscape, and the left believes that we are going to fall into a fascist hellscape. Both sides agree that the country is wildly corrupt, out of the control of the constituency that elects and pays for all of this. But both sides cannot agree that this is the same damn party doing this. We have to lean into our tribalistic instincts and say, no, your guy is worse than my guy, even though they both do the same damn things.
Well,
So,
I suppose. I mean, I've led a very happy life and be completely oblivious. The only thing I know is that Maine is going to be that commie hellscape in a few
yeah.
months.
Yeah, it snuck up on me. Believe me, I was, farting around here thinking like, this is Mayberry, man. We got it easy up here. Everybody's nice and peaceful. We all just want to get it. No, there's dudes with Nazi tattoos teaching gay kids how to shoot each other.
And they're going to win in a landslide.
Apparently, those are the only good Nazis. The one that teaches you how to murder.
Well, the craziest thing is that he's out polling the incumbent governor that's running against him for the same seat in the primary. He's outpolling her by almost 20 points, and he's got 2 Nazi tattoos on him. And it's like the left's like, yeah, no, Trump reading Mein Kampf is worse than the guy having 2 permanent Nazi tattoos on him.
Well, it's fascinating.
What?
It's fascinating how many on the left seem to embrace people like Mondani and this planter guy, or whatever his name is. I don't understand if you need to go to the extreme. You think that Trump is as fascist and as extremist. I don't know if embracing the opposite extreme.
We'll fight Nazis with gay Nazis.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to help. I would imagine that you would want to go more towards the center versus going to the extreme. And I don't think Trump is as extreme as they paint him. I don't
Well,
know.
they want you to believe that we are going to experience Crystal Knocked at any point, that he is building up this stronghold and they're going to go around and murder everybody in D.C. and somehow nobody in the country is going to be able to deal with that and the power will fall into his
But that's
hands.
the odd thing.
And the only way to fight this, is to do 8 South Park episodes where we draw Trump with a tiny penis. That's the only way that we
But
can
the
fight
odd
what's
thing
happening
is
next.
that DC is actually safer now. So they're
Well,
not getting
yeah,
murdered.
it's pretty nuts. But the thing is, right? So, like, think about it, right? So think about it. Their best attempt at dealing with him is getting a bunch of retirees to put up signs that say there are no kings and wear stupid inflatable costumes and march around blocking traffic. That's the best they can do in all of this. And what I want to point out is that, like, the right didn't do anything like overthrow the government or declare war or anything like that. But what the right ended up doing in protest of Biden was a lot less indignified than what the left is doing themselves here. We didn't have a No Kings protest. We didn't have these kinds of hissy fits over the situation. There were many people that were complaining, obviously, many people. But the situation boiled down to, well, we're not going to do that again. And so everybody got together and organized around it. The left has decided that they're going to start doing witch hunts to find out who's even soft on leftist ideas, let alone friendly for Trump. So it's not enough that you dislike Trump. You also have to be as nuts as everybody else in order to make sure that you get to stay a Democrat.
The 7 Commandments. I'm sorry, I was just reading Animal Farm today, and like the 7 commandments of what you have. This is what you have to do, you know. And so it's just about. It's not a party, like party loyalty ideology, basically. And it's just
a religion.
It's and I said this years ago. I didn't know what it was, but I said, you know, the same fucking, and obviously you guys are gonna hate me for saying this. The same shit that I saw in the 90s with social conservatism that I didn't like. I was seeing the same fucking playbook with using religion or your ideology to basically like punish people. And it's like, that's not, but at least the religious people believe in redemption. Okay. At least they believe in these tenets that Western civilization was built on. I don't know what you believe in. It seems like you believe in like lashing out and hurting people because you have a justified reason for doing so. Anybody that's like, I don't care what your ideology is. I don't care what it is. If you're about hurting people, I am not interested. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, redemption is a biblical concept, and if you hate God, you don't believe in redemption, which is why a lot of people celebrate.
Why a lot of communists, a lot of communists don't have a problem with murdering people to accomplish their ideas, because those people are irredeemable.
Because you said something that could be deemed racist at one point in your life, so we're going to celebrate when you die. That's essentially what it comes down to.
Welcome to communism.
One other point here. This is something that was part of Joe's rant. And I wish Cassie was here because maybe she can give me more insight on this. Joe was, I guess people were blaming Trump for the rise in video game prices, but I recall a couple of years ago it was like, didn't prices go up with like Sony like 2020? Like I could have sworn like Cassie just did a video about this not too long ago, and that was right before Trump got sworn in. Like, did that not happen? Or am I?
Well, no, the game prices have been going up forever now because of inflation in general. It's not like inflation wasn't a thing when Biden was in and when Trump wasn't in the first time. Mm-hmm. But what ended up happening is that the games companies. With Nintendo was like, yeah, no, you're going to pay $80 to do Mario Kart now. Good luck. And everybody else was like, okay, that's the new standard. And so this new price gouging game has begun where they try to race you up to $120 just for the game, not the console, just the game itself. That's not even with all the DLCs. That's just the game, $120. All right? Mm-hmm. And they want to blame that on the tariffs. Are tariffs playing a role in it? Of course. Why wouldn't they? That technology comes from outside the country. However, these corporations have been jacking up the price steadily on every possible function within the game. They have been selling us unfinished games, and then the DLC is what completes the game. The paid DLC is what completes the game.
Well, so taking it a step further than that, we've been talking about on this show now for months. It's like the reason why all these prices are going up, none of these media companies have money. They're all losing money, and they can only get new deals or new cash revenue by making a business deal with another corporation looking to boost its stock price. So, as we just saw here with EA, that's sold to the Saudis, because let's be honest, if you have a massive amount of debt and you're not going to get that debt paid off selling to another corporation because they're also in debt, how are you going to get that paid off? You go to Saudi Arabia. We've been talking about this in media for at least the last couple of years now. None of these companies have money, and more of them are going to start folding upon themselves. And because these are big corporations in the television world that also have outlets in the video game world, you're seeing a lot of correlation here, is that all these companies are just creating a bubble, and it's going to burst sooner rather than later. Now, if you're going to sit there and be disingenuous and say that this is all Trump's fault, well, like I said, it's the same thing with Warner Brothers right now. if you're going to say that tariffs are the reason that they're having money troubles, okay, this is the same, exactly, right? This is the same company that we've been saying time and time again has been literally hot potatoing debt ever since Ted Turner owned the property. Like, literally. That's why Turner's name is still on all that stuff that Warner Brothers owns, because they've been hot potatoing debt for money that they didn't have back in 1999. The reason why our debt has ballooned to trillions upon trillions of dollars is everyone's been finding a way to manipulate the system until people realize that there's no money. And when that bubble bursts, everything's going down. And that's the reality of the situation. If you've been paying attention to this for years, you would know this. Yeah, that's why they're trying to sell too. They were, $50 billion in debt when they sold it 3 years ago. And that was 3 years ago.
I'm surprised, since Warner Brothers just brought us, this generation Citizen Kane, the greatest movie ever made in all human history. So I don't know how they could be struggling.
But yeah, I mean, look, the media game is rigged because, like I said, me and Rob talk about this all the time. There's basically 4 companies that control everything that you watch and everything that you play in the world at this point, and we're very dangerously close to it being about 3. So if you want to know why everything's all screwed up, it's because we've been literally cannibalizing each other since the 1980s. That's why. And now the chickens have come to the roost. Any final thoughts here on Joe's meltdown before we move on?
I just want to just follow up what you said here real quick. I mean, I'm going to actually cherish this moment because, with what Sider said and what you've said about AI, it's like in 3 years, I mean, maybe entertainment as we know it won't exist anymore. We won't be able to tell the difference between whatever. So I'm going to cherish this moment, the last of the, I don't know what, looking like 2D era, where it's just like, okay, sweet, like it's been a ride, it's been a lot of fun. So and Warner Brothers, like I said before a couple weeks ago, has been a huge part of my life as just a symbol of quality and the gangster movies and the great movies throughout their whole run and their whole history. It's just sad, but this has been coming since the 80s. This has been coming for a long time, with the movie studios selling out to transnational corporations. So this is just the end game.
Yeah, it's going to continue, and only if you're paying attention, you're going to see exactly what's happening here. But I'm going to have one little quick debate here about Halloween, because I'm going to be completely honest with you here. There's been 2 takes on Halloween, and I wasn't originally going to talk about this, but I've seen these arguments repeat itself over the course of the last week, and I feel like I had to say something, because there's 2 essentially arguments being made about the holiday of Halloween that really irks me, and it's coming from both sides. This isn't just a left-wing issue, because there's a lot of dumb people on the right that are making a very similar dumb claim here too, so I don't think that I'm specifically throwing anyone under the bus, because I'm basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. Halloween, I have been told personally by many people, and here's why it's so hard for people to kind of understand what's happening here, is because here in the United States of America, we've all been sold on the notion that Halloween is just dress up in a costume, knock on your neighbor's door, and get some candy. And that's the entire baseline level that people see Halloween. So if that's the only way you see the holiday, everything that I'm about to say to you is about to go completely over your head, and you're not going to get it. Fair enough. That's where we are, right? I had an argument about a week ago with a person, ironically at a church, who was arguing that Halloween is actually a Christian holiday. Now, when I asked him how he came to this conclusion here, it's because the same argument you've probably heard from people like Jack Posobiec over the course of the last couple of weeks is that, Halloween is a Christian holiday because some pope in the 8th century said so. That's really the gist of kind of the argument there. You guys know exactly how I feel about the Roman Catholic Church, right? So when somebody makes the argument to me that Halloween is Christian because a Catholic pope in the 8th century said that it was, immediately that's going to raise some red flags to me. You hear pagans, like real pagans, argue this all the time, that Christians stole all the holidays from us and blah, blah, blah. Now, when they're saying Christians because they're pagans, they're talking about the Roman Catholic Church. the Roman Catholic Church did steal a lot of pagan holidays. Let's be very, very clear about that. And the way that they were trying to convert pagans was to essentially present them pagan holidays with a little bit of Christianese in there. And they thought that, that will turn them from pagans to Christians. I think that only made the Roman Catholic Church more pagan as a result of that. Because when you see a lot of things that go on with All Hallows Eve and Halloween and stuff like that, there's nothing about Halloween that you will ever find in the Bible whatsoever, right? So I'm very, very much against this notion that Halloween is a Christian holiday based on that. But then there's the flip side of it, because there's the other side of people that think that Halloween is just completely and totally innocent, and anyone who says otherwise is reading too much into it. They're too religious, all this stuff. I'm going to be very, very blunt with you. I've known people who are formerly witches, formerly in the occult, former Satanists, by the way. So these are legitimate devil worshippers, not like, oh, the guy did a sign and that. No, I mean, like, they literally used to worship Satan. All of these people have told me from their own personal experience what Halloween, from the side of people who practice witchcraft, occultism, Satanism, a few other occult-like groups, what they actually do with Halloween and the true origins of Halloween and why it was so important to them when they were in those groups. There's a lot of rampant occultism in Halloween. The pagan origins of Halloween was supposed to be honoring the dead or honoring spirits, quote unquote. If you've listened to my show long enough, you probably know who those spirits actually are. I'll leave it at that. And then the Roman Catholic Church came along and co-opted it and basically say, oh, we use this day to honor dead saints. So we pray for dead saints on behalf of dead saints. So it's become a prayer to the same spirits that the pagans used to pray to. I can tell you from personal experience, everything that I've heard about what actually goes on in Halloween is nothing to be celebrated. It's very, very dark. It's very, very sinister. At the same time, I understand that if your only concept of Halloween is Spider-Man and Reese's Pieces, then it's going to go completely over your head. So, like I said, I'm looking at this from two different perspectives. I'll summarize it here with this. I don't think that Halloween is an innocent holiday that most secular people believe that it is. And let's be honest here. The reason why most people believe that is because a lot of things have become so normalized in our society that we really don't think a second of it at all, right? So you just see Halloween decorations and spooky ghosts and scary demons, and it's all like, oh, it's just because of the holiday and stuff like that. Not knowing that the people who are actually partaking in this have a much more sinister agenda behind it than you perhaps do. Am I saying that you shouldn't celebrate Halloween? I get it if you're just from the perspective of, hey, look, I just want to take my kids around the neighborhood and get candy. I understand it from that perspective, but there are also people out there that go way above just candy and costumes, and I don't agree with that either. And then, like I said, the notion that this has anything to do with anything that is in the Bible, read it yourself. You won't find a single verse that supports anything in this video that you just saw. But I'm going to flip it over to some secular people here, Insider as well. I'll start here with Rob, because you were just talking about this a little while ago with the whole religious Christian reaction to like things of this nature. And I get it, because what a lot of people see is that when people point out that a lot of these holidays actually have sinister origins to them, what they hear is, oh, you just want to take away my candy and costumes and you want to be a fuddy-duddy because you're all religious and shit. Like, that's what they hear. Not understanding, it's like, no, I actually know a lot more about the origins of this holiday than perhaps a lot of people in the general public do. Like, there's actually a reason to it. I did a whole video about this in the Satanic Panic. Go back and watch that series. You got to listen to people's own words and take them that, hey, maybe they're not playing around when they're saying these things. But Rob, what's kind of your take on Halloween as a holiday from a secular perspective, and the objections to Halloween that you heard? What's kind of your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be like, I love Halloween, because it's like, I mean, I'm not 10, you know what I mean? Like, I never really understood millennials like holding on to Halloween as a way of like actively dressing up every year, because it's like trick-or-treating's for kids past a certain point, and then like, okay, so you extend that to like Halloween parties, and you can, and it's fine, don't get me wrong, it's just a festive time. Like, I don't think anything nefarious of it necessarily. I'm just like it's like a kiddie thing. It's like it's something for kids. So it's like I feel weird trying like being an adult and I don't know. Maybe I just take myself too seriously. I'd like to think, I'm laid back and I have a sense of humor, but I'm probably not. I'm probably way too uptight. But no, I mean, I generally look at Halloween as more of the pageantry of it, the corny black cats and bats and pumpkins and stuff like that. But I also grew up watching horror movies. And when I was young, I liked feeling scared. I liked that sort of anticipatory excitement. But as I've gotten older, that's, completely gone out the window. It's so rare that I see a movie that genuinely instills something fearful or anxiety in me. So that's part of it too, is just like, I like seeing the decorations. I like seeing all of that stuff. But yeah, I'm completely ignorant of like the holiday, its origins, anything like that. I, very much grew up as in the commercialized candified America, where it was just fun. I mean, this was pre, people getting offended by costumes, like if you wanted to be a Native American or you wanted to, put makeup on or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was a lot of fun to do as a kid. And what it's kind of turned into as just another like social topic or hot topic about like you're disrespecting these people, or my culture is not your costume. It's like, do you always take yourself this seriously? Is this what's important to you? So, that's part of it too as well. But, yeah, I largely see it as harmless. The last thing I'll say is, one of my favorite Halloween movies is actually Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which is my favorite Halloween in the franchise Halloween movie, which does not have Michael Myers in it. It's much more about like this nefarious, like candy / toy maker who's like giving out these masks that like when like 8 o'clock hits on Halloween, it'll like kill all your kids. It's fantastic. Like it's just a fantastically cynical, nasty horror movie from the early 80s. And so check it out if you can. But the bad guy in it, who plays the president from RoboCop, basically talks about how Halloween's origins were like child sacrifices and all kinds of like fucking dark shit. So again,
well, it's pagan. Yeah,
it's a movie, but I don't, you know what I mean? But that's my only background on this is from a movie. So there you go.
And just point out real quick before I go to Cider, anytime you hear origins of pagan or pagan origins of anything, 9 times out of 9 there's human sacrifices involved. That's why they call it pagan origins. So, Cider, go ahead.
So I'm from the place with the nearabouts where the Salem witch trials happened. So like all that occult and crazy stuff is very real up here. We still. My mother told me that when you see a flame that is very low to the wick, that means someone is practicing dark magic nearby. This was always stuff that, you go outside, you put your feet in the grass and during the thunderstorms, and if you don't feel the energy of the earth coming back to you, that means that there's dark magic being practiced. It was always to know that someone was doing some crazy dark shit nearby. This is very real stuff that people practice up here, people observe. Superstition is not that crazy of an idea. Black cats are still murdered around here. Having a black cat in your home is still thought of as like, oh God, what are you doing? Any misfortune that comes upon you is blamed upon that cat by the community. It's still very much this Puritan Revolutionary War colonial environment, even though we have electric cars and smartphones. Like I've said before, the culture up here surprised me around politics. I'm sure people aren't as superstitious as I'm making it out to be, but the behavior we have around these things is still rooted in that belief. We're still reacting in a way to this stuff as though like the Stephen King novels are documentaries. That Maine is as haunted and spooky, and the witches and the monsters are just at the forest's edge, and if you get too close, they'll get ya. And so that's where a lot of that is for me. So when we were growing up, Halloween had like a hard barrier on it. You could not interact with it any further than a haunted house. That was as deep into the haunted, like Halloween-y stuff you could get into. Because like there was just people wearing costumes, and they were usually people from church. that would put on some type of haunted house, and it would just be, you know, them in their costumes, and you walk around their backyard. There's like house part of it. You just go around somebody's backyard. And but it was always a hard barrier of like, don't interact with anything other than that. Because like I don't know how this generally came to happen. I can't tell you who this person is that did this and what inspired them, or if they're even human that did this. But we used to have a Halloween hayride that I would do. I would dress up as the Grim Reaper. I'd have a real scythe, real deal scythe. They're not hard to come by up here, but real deal old timey scythe. And I would stand out in front of the entrance of the wagon entrance trail and point the way in, dressed as the Grim Reaper. Now, I was not the Grim Reaper in my mind, okay? I am not a murderer. I'm not here to reap the souls. I am a dork in a costume pointing my way to a bunch of drunk adults in the woods. And that's it. You know, I'm not... there's nothing...
How's that different from any other weekend up in Maine?
Yeah, it's the costume, really. But, yeah, and so what ends up happening is that during one of these years is I'm... moving between the entrance and the exit, which is not too far away from it. And I stop for a minute and just listen to people screaming and having a great time being spooked. Okay. In my mind, a goblin comes out of the wood, out of the tree line, across the wagon road from me, grabs me by the throat, puts me up against one of the boulders I was standing next to, and then lets me go and walks away. I just have no idea. I've never met anybody that took credit for that. Because, like, you don't just do that to, like, a 16-year-old teenager and not, like, haha, scared ya. You know, you don't take credit. You take credit for that. You don't leave the mystery of who the goblin man that didn't make eye contact with you when he literally strangled you against a boulder in the woods, you know? Yeah. And then this person releases me and runs off into the woods. Never to be heard from again. Maine is full of all this stuff. Like, I have a bunch of scary stories I could tell you all about, the stuff that I encountered. I dated a girl that had a Ouija board, and when I went to her house the very first time, I left with scratches on my back. Not from her, but from a malevolent spirit in their home. Apparently, the farmer that lived there used to brutalize the cattle on that land.
Yeah, by the way, that's a textbook demonic attack, by the way, just in case you
I'm well aware of all that stuff. Because up here, it's all very real. It's all very, you know, this stuff is still very, like, alive and well. Whether you want to believe it actually goes on or not, I can't tell you. Because, again, I experienced stuff that I can't explain to you. I have not had a ghost walk up to me and say, "Sup, bro, I'm fucking dead and trapped in purgatory forever." I have never had that happen. But as a child, I told my mother how my grandmother was taken from her body by my grandfather that died when my mother was 12 years old. I described how the clothing he was buried in and the style of his hair to her when I was 5.
Yeah. And
so,
a quick
like,
little
a
note
lot
here.
of creepy stuff happens up here.
And a quick little note here before I go to Rick is that, you know, like, again, Ouija boards. They used to sell Ouija boards, you know, Milton Bradley used to have it, right? So the whole concept of Ouija boards got desensitized to people because they viewed it as a game. They viewed it as like, oh, just get a bunch of people in a room, we'll make the thing move. There's nothing to it, right? This is what I mean about how things in our culture get normalized so that people think that it's just okay, like there's nothing wrong with it. And a lot of that is intentional because if you're trying to essentially trick people to get closer to malevolent demonic spirits that are basically eyeing to torment them, that would be a good way to do it. To just completely tell people that's like, oh yeah, no, it's just normal. This things that we do. There's nothing real about it. Just go ahead and do it with all your friends and stuff like that.
Ouija board's evil. I am the Karen that when I was when Toys R Us was still open. I am the Karen that when I would go to Toys R Us, I would go look and see if they had the Ouija board on for sale, and I would go and complain to the manager. I would tell the manager, like, buddy, that you're literally communicating with the dead. Okay, if that toy is to be believed as advertised, you were teaching children to communicate with the dead. And the manager was always like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. Of course you didn't. It's a toy store. Exactly. What did you think they were going to send you?
By the way, communicating with spirits, communicating with the dead, the Bible says that that's a punishment by death. So it's actually kind of a really, really bad thing to do.
But wouldn't you know, you're not ever talking to the dead when you do that.
No, you're just talking to demons, and that's what people never figure
That's
out.
what Ouija board does. It opens up a target on your back. It marks you. I've walked out of dates because they told me they use a Ouija board. I had that happen to me once. I made up my mind. I said, that's real enough for me. That's real enough for me. I'm never letting that happen to me again. I've left dates. I've stopped talking. I've ghosted women. Like talking to them, setting up dates. I've ghosted them. They've told me about that. It's one of the questions I ask before I even go on a date with them. Have you ever used a Ouija board?
Rick, I want to get your take on this whole Halloween discussion here.
My experiences with Halloween are probably radically different than anyone here. I see it as like a lot of people just they don't even dress up. A lot of people around here will have their little Walmart shopping bags, go up to the door and go trick or treat, and then just demand candy without even dressing up. And I'm looking at
Taco tree.
Trick or treat, trick or treat. And I look at them and I'm thinking, you're 17, you're not even dressed in a costume. You just have this Walmart bag and you expect free food. No, I'm not giving you candy just because you're out there, the 17-year-old, not even bothering to dress up.
You sound like
put a
Larry
little,
David.
huh?
You sound like Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm. He gets called a bald asshole because he won't give candy out to these 17-year-old girls who obviously aren't dressed up.
Yes, I mean, but that's a typical thing around here, and I never turn my light on Halloween because they always expect to ring they always expect that, and I'm not there. But then again, I don't watch horror films. I don't care for them, so I have a slightly different thing. I dressed up as a kid, and I didn't dress up as anything really freaky. I dress up as a king normally because I already had the beard when I was like 7. I already had the facial hair, so that's how I was fine with it. Well, no, that's not true. Sometimes I did dress up as Obi-Wan Kenobi, had my little lightsaber and everything. So I never saw it as anything particularly dangerous, and I'm not big into candy either. So I always had that experience. Um, we what I don't particularly what I'm not fond of, and we talked about this, or it was mentioned at church on Sunday, is people who refer to these parties as harvest parties, or it's a harvest festival, and the pastor is like, "No, it's a Halloween party. Stop calling it harvest. You can dress it up that way, but it's not a harvest party. You're not celebrating the harvest. No one in El Paso has a harvest to celebrate. They celebrate Halloween. So there's nothing like why dress it up. I will say this: when I went to Utah, and that was reminded me when I went to Utah and I stayed with my friends who are part of the InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. They told me that at Salt Lake City, Halloween is the big thing. Like they don't really they put up Christmas decorations, but it's not as big as Halloween. Somehow in Salt Lake City, they go all out, like massive decorations on all of this. And I wonder if it is somewhat connected to the idea of Mormon theology that teaches that you can baptize for the dead, basically in absentia. I don't. They explained it to me better than I could. I was just fascinated by that whole concept of people just doing all this. That all these nice, clean-cut Mormons, they're really big into Halloween. I don't quite understand it, and I'm sure I'll get a long theological discussion on that sometime. But for me, I don't think Halloween is horrendous as it is now because so much of American culture takes it from other places and waters it down. This whole concept of Halloween came from the Irish and the Scots when they came in large numbers, and they brought the Celtic influence with them. And you look, and it's not not the only holiday. People, when they think of Cinco de Mayo, they don't think about the Mexicans fighting the French. They think about getting drunk on tequilas and Dos Equis. They don't. I'm sure the other holidays that are about of other things, and Americans just use them as an excuse to get drunk. It's the same thing here with Halloween. I don't think most Americans are thinking about, sacrificing children or goats or whatever, dancing around naked and with the blood of chickens all over them. They're probably just thinking, you know what, you're a sexy vampire. Let's get it on, honey. That's what they're thinking. So I'm not going to be horrified with Halloween, but I don't celebrate
The last
it.
time you've been on a date was in the 40s. Like who talks like that?
I think the last time I was on a date, Bush was president and we were in Iraq.
At which time?
Yes, that's the question. Yeah, that's the question.
That's pretty cool of you to go on a date in Iraq.
Oh yeah.
So
I was hitting up one of Saddam's palaces. That's where I met up. And there's a question that was asked. We do have a lot of Day of the Dead altars at the libraries. We have put up the altars. I have gone to the cemetery on Dia de los Muertos. I don't put any food out there. I was not completely clear when I was watching Coco about the ofrenda thing. I think that was just it's a little too much, but I do understand some of it. We do have our altars. I don't have an altar, but I have seen the altars. I have put pictures of my relatives on altars, and I'm pretty sure if I could, we don't have an altar at the branch I'm at, but I've seen altars all around. I don't dress up, but I do eat some of the food. All right. I'm sorry. I do eat some of the Day of the Dead bread. It's delicious, and you can't take me away from it. All right.
Is it a sweet bread?
It's sweet. Yeah. It's sweet. It's delicious. So I'm sorry. No matter what you tell me about it all being demonic or satanic, I'm holding on to that bread. You'll have to pry it from my cold, dead hands.
Famous last words. So there's one point that I want to make here just real quick too. Like as far as like Halloween goes, I think I feel the same way about Rob. It's like Halloween was kind of a thing for me when I was younger, when I actually cared about trick-or-treating. That was like 25 years ago. I have not had much interest in Halloween since. I'm not one of these people. The last Halloween party I went to was probably a decade ago, so it's like I don't have that urge to go out there in costume and stuff like that. That's all past me at this point. One thing that I will say about kind of the horror genre that really opened my eyes over the last few years. I've talked about it here a couple of times here too, but all these like Halloween movies, these scary movies that come out during like Halloween and whatnot, we all think, oh, it's just a movie, magic, nothing more to it than that. But then as we started going deeper into how these films were made and how they were inspired, even if you look at recent Star Wars television shows, the creative minds behind these shows are not just making up gobbledygook and putting it in the movies like a lot of people assume. They're using real occult practices and putting them in these television shows now. The Star Wars, The Acolyte, we all know the whole story about that, what happened a couple of years ago. That was confirmed that the wife of that person was a real witch, and she was putting real witchcraft in that film. The whole thing was about basically creating children from the ether and all that stuff.
Lesbian space witches, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? But that was real witchcraft that you saw there in that film. I've seen this in a couple of movies, too. The Doctor Strange 2 that came out a couple of years ago, I talked about this. A person who is not a Christian by any stretch of the imagination noted after watching that film to me about how shocked he was by how demonic the movie was. And the reason why he said the movie was demonic because he recognized the occult symbols in the film and realized those were real occult symbols. Those were not made up squiggly lines for scary effect. They were doing real witchcraft in that film. The Terrifier series. I know multiple people who are creative minds in that film who are associated directly with the Church of Satan. So again, a lot of things are fed to us as innocent, and they're really not. And the one thing that I'll say, this is kind of my personal take on a lot of this stuff, is that there was one verse in the Bible, I think it's 2 Timothy, where it basically says that God does not give the spirit of fear, and it says it very, very plainly. And I thought to myself, what do a lot of people do with Halloween? It's like, oh, we all try to scare each other. We watch scary movies to invoke that spirit of fear. Well, if God said he didn't give you that spirit of fear, where do you think it came from? It can only come from two places, right? And that was, to me, it was kind of like, yeah, actually, that kind of makes more sense with everything that's going on here. So with the people who I've spoken to who I know their associations with. I know too much about Halloween to look at it from the perspective of, like I said, superhero costumes and candy, so I can't look at it the same way anymore. What I recommend, and I think it was Leslie had asked me what I think about like trunk or treat or like stuff like that. If you're a church, probably not. Like I probably would just kind of stay away from it altogether. I know some churches are now doing like Reformation Day or whatnot, and even that's kind of dumb to me because Martin Luther wasn't a church hero either. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, no, I just personally would just stay away from it because I know too much about it. But there's a lot of people out there who don't know a lot about any of the stuff that we talk about here. So they're going to look at it from a completely different perspective. I can only tell you what I know from my own personal experience. But at the end of the day, you're an adult. You're responsible for your own decisions. And if some people have to learn their lessons the hard way, then hey, that's basically all of them. That's more I can do from there. And I'll let you guys get the last word here before we get out of here.
Yeah, I'll just say real quick. Listen, I certainly don't want to discount anybody's experiences because my thing with, I don't know what you want to call it, the supernatural or anything paranormal or whatever, demonic, if you really want to go there, spiritual. I've never experienced anything like that, and I've always kind of thought a lot of like, because there is a lot in New England, there were a lot of those ghost hunter shows. Sorry. And look, that's fine if that's like you like that or you're into that. I just thought it was the dumbest shit ever. And so I've always put the paranormal and all that stuff in that box until I see it, until I experience it. I just don't think it's real. So it definitely freaks me out to hear about that. You know what I mean? Because it is. It's like, okay, well, I'm open to that being a possibility. All I can really speak to is what I've experienced or what I haven't, and that I've never run into that. But I've also never fucked with a Ouija board. That's one of those things that like I'm just not. A, I'm not interested in it, and B, it's like I've seen it. Here's the thing: the classic horror movies, the Universal monster movies, it's all about it's about what happens when you fuck with the unnatural. And so I don't want to fuck with things I don't understand. I don't want to mess around with things that I don't understand. I love movies and I love NFL football, and I'm fine staying in that box for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like that's seriously, there's more than enough material there to keep me busy. And I just don't like, maybe I'm incurious or something, but don't care. Don't want to know. I'm good. So, but yeah, no, I think Halloween can be fun, but it's just a kind of a silly holiday for me. I don't know if she's still here, but I know that like Lisa went to Salem, just this past weekend. And like, I know that it's kind of like a tourist thing there. But again, I don't, you know what I mean? I've never been to New England myself. So I find all of this kind of fascinating.
Oh, it's terrible and it rains all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
don't come here. Don't come here.
It's not that New England, we didn't improve much. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Salem does have a statue to Samantha from Bewitched as part of their tourist attraction. So there's always that. So they've kind of embraced that kind of witch thing. Though we should remember that people were murdered is part of the panic and the insanity of the false accusations or the accusations going left, right, and center. I don't have much to add. Like I said, I don't really care for candy. I haven't dressed up. I will actually dress up for a work related thing. They've asked me to dress up like a character from Bob's Burgers, and I had to look what that was because I never saw the show. So I will be getting a little gray beanie. Other than that, I think that I think it's nothing that I would worry too much about because I don't participate in the occult. Then again, I found The Exorcist funny, and I fell asleep at Shelby Oaks. So there's that. I don't have much to offer on this.
Yeah, I'll say this and I'll cap it off here. I think I've told Cider this. I'm not sure how many of you guys I've told this before. But I've always stayed away from anything outright occultish, outright satanic. So I've never had to worry about stuff like that for the most part. Yeah, exactly right. But I will say this, and I'm not sure if I told you guys this before, but all of you guys at one point in time have appeared on the Bible Lynch, true?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've had conversations with other people who've appeared on the Bible Lens over the course of the last couple of years. Immediately after we did those shows, which are on Sunday nights, and I went to sleep, I've experienced a couple of spiritual attacks that I know for a fact were spiritual attacks, and it all happened the day after I spoke with you guys specifically about Christ. So, to me, the timing of that told me that certain somebody was very, very unhappy with my messaging, especially around the show, with people who are genuinely, I'm talking about the people who I've had one-on-one conversations with, non-believers. And I've had this happen a couple of times before. That's my closest thing to, I guess you could say, any kind of demonic attack. Now, I've never been, like, I think, outright possessed or anything like that. Like, I've had feelings of oppression and stuff like that before, so, like, I've gone through that, but not just outright oppressed. Fortunately, in my life, and I can look back and be like, there's probably somebody protecting me. There's a lot of things that I could have gotten into that could have led me down to that point, but I never really gotten into them. Just that it is a general feeling that it was never actually appealing to me, and I kind of look back on what has happened to other people and be like, yeah, I think I dodged a multitude of bullets in my life to get me to where I'm at here too. So most people are not going to believe anything until it personally happens to them. I can only tell you guys my experience, but I can't make you believe it. That's all I'll say there, and that's how we'll end tonight's show. So thank you guys for joining us here on the last Bar Room on YouTube. Next week will be exclusively on Rumble, so once again, go follow the Rumble link, create a Rumble account. That's where the show will be next week. Cider, I'll start off with you and your frozen face. What do you got coming up?
Oh yeah. Bounding's making stuff. Apparently we're being suppressed again. What else is new? We'll see you if you see us. How about that?
All right then. Rob.
Hey everybody. So October is coming to an end. Friday is Halloween. So I put together a list of film noir, a watch list of 130 movies that I will be diving into on November 1st. I don't think I'm going to remotely get close to watching all of them, but I'm going to try. And then just to make things incredibly difficult, I'm also throwing together a neo-noir watch list, which is probably going to take me a really long time. It probably won't be ready by November. All of that is available on my Twitter. I've pinned my list to the top there, so you can check it out for yourself if you're interested. If not, just ignore it. So and other than that, there's new movies or shit right now. I couldn't even tell you what's coming out this week. I have a lot to catch up on, and I've got to start now because I've basically been slacking off the whole year because I've had other priorities. So yeah, we'll be watching a lot of 2025 movies here to end the year, and yeah, I know it's not going to get better, but hey, let's hope next year is better. So I'll see you next week.
Rick.
All right. Well, I've got upcoming reviews of Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, After the Hunt. I will also be reviewing Christie. That was the secret movie that we saw yesterday. I'll be reviewing that. I'm halfway done with Love, Megan. So it's half over, this nightmare. And that's pretty much it. Just upcoming reviews of more recent movies, especially now that we're coming closer probably to the big award contenders. So let's see if any of them come up in El Paso, or if I get the screening links. And that's going to take up a lot of my time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you, and God bless everyone.
All right. Let you know what I got coming up. So as you guys know, I'll put the link to the website. I'm working on putting up a lot of content there right now. I put up a lot of content in the last couple of days. More is going to be coming. It's a big project. I'm about 26% done. Hopefully some of these will go by a lot quicker, but hopefully I'll have everything backlogged onto the site, which would be great to get that completed. This coming Sunday, Bible Ends, 3 p.m. We'll be on YouTube, Rumble, and X. I was going to talk about the topic of the Jews and talk about the four tribes of Jews that were talked about in Jesus' day. But then there was also the interview with Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes that dropped, and Tucker said something to me that I thought was very, very mask off about Christian Zionists. So I might actually focus on that Sunday and go into a deeper topic on that. So we're going to do that one on Sunday, 3 p.m. Next week, we'll be back here, episode 172. Again, we'll be on Rumble, so go over there and follow us on the Rumble side of things, because that's where next week's episode is going to be. Thank you all for joining us here for tonight's episode. Thank you all who came tonight. I'm going to give you guys the short intro so you guys can get out of here. Outro, I say, so you guys can get out of here. Adios, goodbye, and good night.